And we're live. Um, but yeah, this is going to be fun. I just decided to do this again. And we've lost Chris as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably keep you muted until I bring you on to talk. You got a lot of background noise there. So, but yeah. So yeah. It was a lot of fun last time. There was a lot of interesting things happening last time, but so I decided to do it again. There was definitely like I put it out in the chat. There was some franchise that probably should have been, but that people I've picked to be in this new one. I've got Richie. Richie, how's it going?
I'm going good. Yes, first time I think I've been on a stream with you where I don't have the stress of competing, so I can just have a chat, which is good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to just chatting about movies.
Yep. But also here, just to make sure that Godfather doesn't get any lower. I've got Kirk. Kirk, how's it going?
Yeah, doing well. Wasn't happy with the results last time. That's why I'm here. Let's do this right.
And also here I've got Chadwick. Chadwick, how's it going?
It's going well. How's it going, guys? This should be really fun. I like a lot of franchises. Let's see what we can get done.
But yeah, and we may have a Wild Chris pop up at some stage. But with that, I'm going to get started. I'm going to bring up that. And the first one I'm going to start with is The Godfather. Richie, whereabouts would you put The Godfather? We've got God and then A to I at this point.
Just because of the first and second movies are probably some of the best movies of all time. But then you've got that third movie that sort of, as a franchise, it's sort of, you can make the argument it's not like, it's maybe not as strong, but the first two are the two best movies of all time. So I would put it at A, not quite low, but probably A.
Chad, whereabouts would you put The Godfather?
Yeah, I'm kind of agreeing with Richie for the most part there. I actually haven't seen the third one, but I have seen the first two, and those are really great. But I've heard the same things about the third one as like it's not bad, but it's it's not as good as the other two. So I would be okay with A, if not God, but I would just say A, I guess.
And Kirk, whereabouts would you put The Godfather?
Yeah, going on the batting average, it's 2 for 3, and the two are the two of the greatest movies ever made, probably top 5, at least top 10 greatest movies ever made. The third movie isn't awful. It obviously doesn't live up to the legacy, but it's not a terrible movie. It's a watchable movie other than Sofia Coppola's performance. So for me, Godfather's God tier.
Chris, whereabouts would you put The Godfather?
I don't touch it. I would put it in a God tier. Like, yeah, the third movie not great, but the two movie two of the best movie made of all time. And the third one is not that bad. I think, especially with the Jurassic Park coming out, pretty doing too funny.
But yeah, with that, I would also put it up in the Godfather tier. But it's it's one of those ones like I explained it earlier about. Yeah. So the next one, this is probably going to be easy. Is there anyone that's not going to put Twilight in I?
Look, if you're like looking at all the other ones, no, I think it belongs in I. Just based on all the other ones we got there, so it probably belongs in I.
But yeah, but next up we've got Fast and the Furious. Chad, whereabouts would you put Fast and the Furious?
Oh man, okay, that one is kind of hard. There are a lot of iffy ones, but then there are a lot of good ones. It's a really good, like, kind of cool uh, action franchise, and it's like one of those where like it's like one of the biggest ones too. So I feel like even if you like put quality aside, when you look at success and like career makers and stuff like that, I feel like maybe at least a B, or at most a B. I don't know if I would put it at A.
Kirk, whereabouts would you put Fast and the Furious?
I really don't like the movies I've seen. I don't like, and the bits and pieces of what I've known about. I've studied the others for trivia, but I know about them. I do not like them at all. Twilight sets a low bar, so I wouldn't put it at I, but I'd probably at least go H.
Chris, whereabouts would you put Fast and the Furious?
So the very average is no, because yes, 5, 6, 7 Hobbits are good, but the other one are not so great. I'm gonna put it around like C, like in the middle of me.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go C as well. I've been rewatching them because I've been watching the Fast and Furious random match. I've kind of got a new appreciation for them, so I'm probably going to see. Richie, whereabouts would you put Fast and Furious?
I would probably put C as well. I think like after the first three three movies, after the third movie, it was kind of dead in the water. But then the franchise sort of embraced the stupidity of it, and it just became sort of talking on a franchise on its own. So and it became quite popular then. But but it's nowhere. You can't. I can't justify putting it in an top tier thing. It's not like I wouldn't say it's a wonderful franchise or anything. It's fun. So C is sensible.
But with that, we move on to the next one, which is Jurassic Park. Kirk, whereabouts would you put the Jurassic Park franchise?
I was thinking about this one today because we're talking about the franchise, and the original Jurassic Park is fantastic, but the franchise as a whole is pretty bad. There really hasn't been a great movie in this franchise since then, and I feel like just you had one great, completely self-contained movie that never really needed a sequel, and then you just had a bunch of attempts to cash in on the IP later on. So as much as I love the original Jurassic Park and the idea of Jurassic Park, I'd probably put the franchise at like a D.
Chris, whereabouts would you put the Jurassic Park franchise?
I love the original. I like Jurassic World. The other one, the last one made me wanted to walk out in the middle of the movie after the first, and like that thing something. I had to put it in D. I must have loved the first one. I do enjoy Jurassic World for guilty pleasure, but the other one's a huge thing to me.
So what number was that? Was that D?
Yeah, D.
Yeah, I'm actually going to agree. I'm probably going to go D as well. Like it's enjoyable, but it's as Kirk said, it's one of those ones like it can really hit and miss at times. Richie, whereabouts would you put Jurassic Park franchise?
So it's Jurassic Park just the 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, that's the whole franchise.
This is and including the two worlds.
Okay, well, yeah,
Even
including them, like you can make the argument like Jurassic Park's a good movie. Lost World I liked, but yeah, the rest of them are fine. They're not a great franchise, so yeah, D's fine.
And Chad, whereabouts would you put Fast and Jurassic Park?
Yeah, I'm mirroring everybody else's sentiments there. I honestly might even put it a little lower than D, but since the consensus has been D, that's cool. Just because the first one is great, but the other ones just have never really lived up to that, so it's been a declining franchise.
But the next one we've got is one of the biggest ones here. We've got MCU. Chris, whereabouts would you put the MCU?
God, yeah, this is like two movies I don't particularly like. This is like a lot of them are some of my favorite comic book movies all the time.
Yeah, this one is easily God tier for me as well. Richie,
I feel like it has to either go like like at the very least A, or but yeah, for the most. I'd say God tier as well, because just just the idea is just dominating cinema. So,
Chad Rabbits would you put the MCU?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this one is an easy shoe-in for the God tier because there's so many of them, and like pretty much all of them are at least decent, but most of them are great. So,
And Kirk, whereabouts would you go off the MCU? Also, you're muted.
you muted, bro.
Sorry about that. I can go with the consensus on that. It's everybody. The movies most of them are at least pretty good. There's some stinkers there, but if you look at a franchise and what they've been able to do, the story they've been able to weave through all these different movies, this may be the pure best just franchise. So yeah, God tier.
Now the big question is: before or after the Godfather?
After Godfather.
Yeah, I'd go after.
Yeah, after.
oh,
I mean, I would have gone before.
I might.
Now,
Oh, sorry.
I mean, the consensus had said after, so it's not. We can't be. Like,
Yeah, I was going to say I would actually probably put it before as well because it's only 2 movies, but they are some of the best.
Godfather's 3 movies, but
Well, I meant 2 great movies and one decent.
yeah,
one.
I figured that's what you meant.
Yeah.
The next franchise we've got is Toy Story. This is one I stick with what I said last time. I like all these movies. I'd put it in God tier. Richie, whereabouts would you put Toy Story?
I put it in God tier just because of the first 3. The fourth is really good, but it's not unnecessary to me. But yeah, I would put it in God tier.
Chad, whereabouts would you put Toy Story?
Yeah, God tier. I think all 4 of them are actually kind of near perfect, even if the 4th one is kind of unnecessary.
And Kirk, whereabouts would you put Toy Story?
I probably would have put it B. There's 2 movies here I really like. One that's pretty good, and one that really doesn't have any purpose. So I'd go a little lower. I'd put it at B.
And Chris, whereabouts would you put Toy Story?
I went everybody out I got here. Like I love all 4 of them. Like yeah, 4 of them. I just think about 4 had some of the more funny moments of the franchise.
Now, just like last time, I'll ask this question. Whereabouts on the God tier would you put it? I'm pretty sure Kirk will say where it is fine. But Chris, are you happy with it there?
Yeah, happy with it there. Like yeah, all 4 are great. It's just like where I put it before mom with that department. No, I can't.
Yeah, that's one of those ones. Like I think Richie, Chad, any objections?
No, I think it fits there.
Yeah, that's a good place for it.
Next up, we've got the Middle Earth.
All right.
Are we saying all of them or just the first 3?
It's all of them. Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit are one franchise. Richie, whereabouts would you put Middle Earth?
Okay, I mean, like obviously the Lord of the Rings trilogy is pretty good, but I really wasn't a big fan of the Hobbit trilogy. It's fine. I would probably go somewhere like C or D.
Chad, whereabouts would you put Middle Earth?
I definitely wouldn't put it like that low. I get where he's coming from, but like the first 3, like even though I haven't seen them that much, the first 3 are like some of the best movies ever made, and then they kind of taint it a little bit with the other ones, but they're not all terrible movies. I would probably put it at a B. I'd put it at like at least an A, if not God, if the Hobbits weren't included.
Kirk, whereabouts would you put Middle Earth?
I see. I'm not as big a fan as the original 3 as a lot of people are. I mean, they're good, but they're just not. They don't resonate with me as much as some other movies do. And then you throw the Hobbit in there, that just really sucks it down. So I'd probably put it around a D.
Chris, whereabouts would you put Middle Earth?
I put it between B and C, but I can't do go with B because the first 3 movies are great, and then it's got to be Mach and Mutant.
Yeah, I mean, I would have gone A myself, but I think the consensus is around C from what I've heard. So C is where it's going to go.
Big 4 Fast and Furious.
I mean, you think I'd even try to argue for a thing after? But next up, we've got Back to the Future. And Chad, whereabouts would you put Back to the Future?
Oh, okay. Well, there's only 3 of these. The first one's kind of almost a perfect movie. The third one's really good. I think the second one's not that great, but it's still a good movie, I would say, probably ish. Crap. So, I'd probably put it at a C. No, B. No, B. B. I'm sorry.
Kirk, whereabouts would you put Back to the Future?
Okay, yeah. I mean, he's right. The first one's fantastic. It's perfect. The second one's okay. Kind of. I like how it builds on the story. The third one, the second 2 are average compared to the first one. But I would say probably when you put all 3 together, I'd probably put it around a C.
Chris?
I think number B. A. I mean, I enjoy all 3. I think the third one have a really great message to it with Dot last line in the film, and they hold up well in entertainment value. You don't watch an entertainment value about. They are fun movies to watch back to back to back.
Yeah.
So I'm getting that B.
Alright, so we've got a few Bs, a C. I'm probably going to go C on Back to the Future. I like all 3 movies. On rewatch, they kind of go down a little bit. But Richie, whereabouts would you go for Back to the Future?
Yeah, I like all 3 movies. You mean the second and third one are okay. The first one's fantastic. I'd say D, but I'm happy with the C.
And I'll put it right in between here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean I didn't mention this on top, but like I'm going to make it each tier can have a maximum of 10 because otherwise we'll have we could have a lot in God tier. But next up we've got How to Train Your Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Kirk, whereabouts would you put How to Train Your Dragon?
They're okay. Again, this is something I know resonates a lot. Some other people a lot more than it does with me. So I'd probably put it around like what do we have on C so far?
C, we've got Middle Earth, Back to the Future, and Fast and the Furious.
I'd probably put it at D.
Ooh.
Chris, whereabouts would you put How to Train Your Dragon?
And all 3 movies are fantastic after fantastic after fantastic. Like, you see a great storyline, great character, emotional impact. I'm crying in pretty much all of them. All when I saw them in theater, that thing something. Yeah, A on God tiers. Like, these are one of my favorite franchise movies here.
Yeah, I mean, I like all the How to Train Your Dragon movies. I'm probably going to put it in A. Richie, whereabouts would you put How to Train Your Dragon?
I think the first 2 are great. The third one's okay. I'd put it somewhere like B.
Chad, whereabouts would you put How to Train Your Dragon?
Yeah, I would rank them 2, 1, 3. And I would agree with A, to be honest. I don't think God, but A for sure.
Next up, and one of my a big complaint from the last one is because I decided to put all the Batman movies in one, so I've split them up. So first up, we've got the Dark Knight Trilogy. And Kirk, whereabouts would you put Dark Knight Trilogy?
Dark Knight, first 2 are great. Third one's garbage. 2 for 3. But that second one's so good. I'd probably put it. It's hard for me because I really don't like that third one. As much as I like Dark Knight, I dislike the third one. But I'd say if Begins is balancing it out, I'd say I'd go C.
Chris, whereabouts would you put Dark Knight?
A and B. Like, I love the first 2. I don't think Dark Knight was it has offer if some people make it out to be, but they're not very good at first 2. I'm gonna go with B.
Yeah, I mean, I like the trilogy. Like, I've rewatched them recently. I actually don't hate Dark Knight Rises, so I'm probably going to go B myself. Richie, whereabouts would you put Dark Knight Trilogy?
Yeah, I don't hate Dark Knight Rises either. I don't love it though. I think it's a weak out of the trilogy. So I think B is fine.
And Chad, whereabouts would you?
Yeah, Rises is not that bad in my opinion. I actually kind of like that one. But yeah, it would be 2-1-3 for sure. And so yeah, I would agree with B, to be honest.
Yep. Next up, we've got the other Batman movies, which I am going to throw, even though it's not really continuity wise, I'm probably going to throw Adam West Batman into this earlier section, but yeah, I do like Forever. I like 89. Returns is okay. I'm probably going to go E for this one. Richie, whereabouts would you put the earlier Batman movies?
So just the Adam West and then Tim Burton and Return.
Then from 89 to Anne Robin.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I like Batman Returns okay, but yeah, as a whole, yeah, I think E's fine.
Chad, whereabouts would you put the?
Yeah, it's because we put Jurassic Park in D, and that has like one great one, and the rest are decent to whatever. And like Batman Returns, Batman are really good, but then you put the Schumacher ones in there. I would probably put it before or after Jurassic Park. I would say D.
Kirk, whereabouts would you put the earlier Batman movies?
I'm okay. We're not counting Mask of the Phantasm.
I mean, if you want to count it, we can count it. So
okay,
yeah,
so I mean that would put it
I would
two.
have put it up further then if it was the case.
Yeah, I'm okay. I mean, if it's cleaner, stay to live action, that's fine. But yeah, I mean, in my opinion, there's one good movie there, and the rest are kind of not great. So I'm fine with E.
And Chris, whereabouts would you put it?
If we were counting Master Phantom, there are two really great movies. One good one, the rest of it. I would go like, yeah, D before Jurassic.
But so I think we've probably got more for D. No, 3. I think 3. Yeah, we'll leave it there. Next up, we've got John Wick.
Okay.
And I'm going to start with Kirk on this one.
3 really solid movies. I mean, my only issue with it is it doesn't have as much. I mean, going 3 through 3 is tough. I mean, you look at some of these franchises only have 3 movies, and there's a lot of them don't have 3 solid movies in them. This one has 3 good ones. I would say that my only issue against would be the lack of longevity, as opposed to some of them, like they haven't been around that long. So I'd give it a solid B.
Solid B. Chris, whereabouts would you go for John Wick?
I am in the same way. I want to say A, but I need to see how they hold up in the next couple of years before I make that decision. I love all 3, and they hold out a lot with the series, but the longevity doesn't hold out once the franchise is over. Might be the question.
So was that a C for you there, Chris?
B.
B. Yeah, I'm probably going to stick with B. I think B is probably a good place for it. Richie, whereabouts would you put John Wick?
Yeah, like people said, it's sort of a newer franchise. I think there's still like 2 or 3 more coming out, aren't there? So it's going to be interesting. But as 3 movies, they're pretty solid. I don't really have any issues with them, so B's fine.
And Chad, any objections to B?
I mean, a little bit, yeah. I actually would bump it up to A, and I would actually put it before Dragons, because I think it's one of the greatest action franchises. I like it more than the Dragons one. I think all 3 are like really good movies, and the way they direct action has like changed like kind of the game pretty much. But until the 4th one comes out, I would put it at A, to be honest, before Dragons myself.
But yeah, I mean, everyone said B, but I figured before the Nolan trilogy, because I think we all liked all 3 movies. everyone's backs on rises. So
Yeah.
next up we've got the Spider-Man franchise, which I'm going to include all these Spider-Man movies, including Spider-Verse. So
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, you're making me
Huh.
Oh, jeez.
Interesting.
Okay, so you got Tobey Maguire Spider-Man to Into the Spider-Verse.
the only ones that aren't counted is the MCU Spider-Mans. So
Oh, okay.
because they're already part of the MCU. So which
Well, you
means
have
I'm gonna start with Chris on this one.
Right.
Okay, two great Spider-Man movie, one okay Spider-Man movie, and two bad Spider-Man movie. I give it B, yeah, because Spider-Verse is one of my favorite, probably my favorite animation movie of the last decade. Like,
Sit that up there. Just rest it there for now. I like the Spider-Man movies. Spider-Verse is great. I'm actually probably going to put it in D. I just think that it's a little bit high at B, but we'll see what everyone else says. Richie, whereabouts would you put these Spider-Man?
Well, yeah, you've got the Tony Maguire ones. You've got I think the two are solid, and then the third one kind of let down a little bit. And then I'm sort of probably in the minority that thinks like both Anthony and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies aren't that great. So then you got Into the Spider-Verse, which I think is awesome. So yeah, I would say probably C, to be honest.
C. Chad, whereabouts would you put the Spider-Man movies?
I would keep it in B for sure because I love Spider-Verse. I love Spider-Man 2. I think those are great films. Spider-Man would be like right under those, and then if you have the amazing ones in there, that drags it down a little bit. If it would just, and then I actually do like 3 too, but it's not a great movie. I would actually put it in A if the Amazing Spider-Man weren't in there, but I think since those are, it drags it down to B, and I would keep it. I maybe actually might put it in front of the Dark Knight trilogy, but then I'm fine if it's after 2 because that's a great trilogy.
Kirk, whereabouts would you put the Spider-Man movie?
I'd have it a lot lower. I like Into the Spider-Verse. I think it's a really good movie, but I do think it's kind of overhyped. I don't think any of the Maguire Spider-Mans hold up. 2 I used to think was pretty good, and 1, but on a rewatch, I don't think they hold up. And the Andrew Garfield ones are just garbage. So I'd probably drop it the whole way down to F.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, most people did say B, so it is going to sit in B. But I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there. I wouldn't put it in front of the Dark Knight trilogy.
No Dark Knight.
Next up, we've got the Pokemon franchise. Look, I like this. I mean, this is one I like this franchise, but I'm going to put it. It's going to be low, but maybe see what happens. Richie, whereabouts would you put Pokemon?
So which Pokemon movies are we talking about here?
Well, pretty much like all the animated ones plus Detective Pikachu.
Okay. Yeah, probably a lower tier. Like I don't have an issue with any of them, but they're okay. They don't. It's not like they don't blow me away or anything like that. So maybe like I don't know. I'd even go lower than a D. Maybe an E.
Chad, whereabouts would you put Pokemon?
Honestly, I mean, I think the first one when I was a kid. I haven't really seen many of them. I kind of enjoyed Detective Pikachu. I didn't think it was a great film at all. I would actually, because there's a lot of other franchises, I would be okay with putting it as low as I before the Twilight. But I know I just haven't seen a lot of them, so that's
that's totally fair. Kirk, whereabouts would you put Pokemon?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as Chadwick. I don't have a lot of experience, but I mean, these are cartoons based on video games, so it's not like there's a lot there. So I mean, I'd be fine with H or I. Keep it at the lower tier because I think a lot of this stuff is better than that.
Chris, whereabouts would you put Pokemon?
Like I like Detective Pikachu. That pretty much it. See, Pokemon good movie. Only rotate someone out there and make one thing, but yeah, I put it E because I do like Detective Pikachu.
Alright, so IH got E. Yeah, I think I'll sit it here. Then that way, kind of, it's lower. Like it can move down if need be because
Oh, okay.
what I should have sort of mentioned at the start is I'm going to make like a decision that each tier can only have 10 things because I've already said anyway. But anyway,
Things can move. That's important.
Oh God.
well, yeah, like if once we get 10, like whatever's at the end will end up moving down a tier
Okay.
anyway. Just because I see it, I don't think it's going to get really high. Anyone not going I for Cars trilogy?
Con is always
Look, I mean, I think the first one's cool, but yes, it's the weaker. It is the weaker franchise of Pixar, probably the weakest franchise they have had. I think they're just sort of they built a franchise to market toys and built a story around it.
Yep.
Yeah, probably I's fine.
Yeah.
But I H is fine as well.
Yeah, well, as I said, Kurt?
I would go H just because, I mean, compare if we're looking at it on Twilight level, I mean, I can sit down and I can sit through these movies. So that right there takes it off a Twilight scale.
That's fair.
Yeah. But yeah. Chris, anything else on Cars?
yeah, between I like the first one is okay, but I regretted seeing the second one and seeing it one. We did make the money I thought I was on seeing it, and the third one didn't even bother to watch because of how bad the second one was.
Yeah. I mean, as someone who actually doesn't hate Twilight, I'm actually happy with Cars being above it. Like, I mean, it's one of those ones like I can sit down and watch like Cars and enjoy it. But anyway, the next franchise we have is Indiana Jones. Kirk, whereabouts would you put Indiana Jones?
I mean, I should clarify that I only acknowledge the existence of 3 of these movies. Yeah, I mean, obviously you got the one complete dumpster fire, and again, it's kind of like the first 3 is kind of like Godfather. I mean, to me, Last Crusade and Raiders are 2 of the greatest movies of all time, and Temple of Doom just doesn't live up to that. If it wasn't for Crystal Skull, I'd have this a God tier, but that drags down enough. I'd put it at A.
Chris, whereabouts would you put Indiana Jones?
Okay, I don't like Peanut Princess all, and I think Temple do a little bit overrated, but I put it in A because it made a lot and Black Crusade is some of the best action adventure movies out there. Like,
Yeah, and just to clarify, Nick Carley's comment was I can actually get it up. The Batman at E tier, it's the early Batman movies. The Dark Knight trilogy is in B tier between John Wick and Spider-Man. So, but yeah, like I'm gonna agree with everyone to go Indiana Jones A. I mean, I'm one of those ones that I enjoy Crystal Skull a little bit more than Temple of Doom. So,
Holy shit.
but,
Okay, that,
and I said a little bit more. But Richie, whereabouts would you put Indiana Jones?
I'd probably put it at A, but there is that sort of asterisk. Obviously, there's the fourth one where you people it's best not to acknowledge that. But then there's also there's that looming whether there's a fifth one going to come out that might kind of put it down a peg depending on how well it does, I guess. But like if I'm going to judge it on the just the 3, I'm going to say A.
Yeah. And Chad, whereabouts would you have gone?
Yeah, I haven't watched this one that much, this whole franchise, but I do acknowledge that the first 3 are great movies. The fourth one I actually liked, but I only saw it once in the theaters, so if I revisit it, it'd be interesting to see what I think now. But yeah, I think A is perfect. If not after Dragons, then before. I think before is fine.
Yeah, no, I think before it's probably a bit better to play for, which is why I think we moved it there anyway. Next up, we've got Oceans, the Oceans franchise, which does include Oceans 8. And I'm going to start with myself. I'm probably going to put this. I'm probably going to go C tier. I enjoy them. I don't know if I would put them higher, but I definitely wouldn't put them sort of below anything else either. Richie, whereabouts would you put the Oceans?
I think they're fine. I didn't really particularly enjoy Ocean's 12 all that much. But I think they're fine. Ocean's 8's pretty good, but like they're not like as memorable as a lot of these things on this list. So I think C is fine.
Chad, whereabouts would you put Oceans?
Yeah, I mirror everything Richie just said. I think I don't remember them that much. I mean, they are remakes, but they're really good. Or most of them are really good. I think the first and third are good. The second one maybe not so much, I guess. And I think the 8 was a pretty cool new way to do it. I don't know if they'll make more of those with that cast, but yeah, I think right there after Fast is probably the best place to put it.
Kirk, whereabouts would you go for Oceans?
Yeah, I've only seen the first one, and honestly, I mean, I've only seen it once, but when I saw it, I wasn't that big a fan of it. But I have no problem. That spot there is pretty good in that position.
And Chris, whereabouts would
I'm gonna put it B. I actually enjoyed 11, 13, and 8 a lot, and it's the better and halfway the franchise that one we have.
but with that being said, we move on to the Lego franchise, which is the 2 Lego movies and Ninjago and Lego Batman. Chad, I'm going to start with you on this one.
Okay, so I think the Lego movie came out and surprised everybody, and it was really good, really funny, really touching. It's just a really good movie. The second one was good. It wasn't very successful. I liked it though, but I would put it under the first one. And then Batman was really good. I'd still put that under the first Lego movie. I never saw Ninjago. So can you scroll up a little bit so we can see where we're at? Because I would probably put it after Spider-Man and B.
Kirk, whereabouts would you go for the Lego movie?
I haven't seen Ninjago, but I mean, the first one was good. Everything Chadwick said about it was right. The second one was not as good. I felt that was kind of a cash-in. And I did not. I mean, I think Batman Lego movie is really overrated. I did not like that movie at all. So I'd probably put it in E after Batman.
Chris, whereabouts would you put the Lego movies?
Yeah, it came out B. Like, I enjoyed the first one. Second one was decent. I actually did like Lego Batman a lot. I didn't think John. I came back to Peter now, John. I enjoyed what I saw, but yeah, I put it B because the first movie is still great.
For the Lego movie.
Okay. Well, the first one's amazing because I think blew people away because people were expecting to be shit. Second one's like people said, it's cash in. Like I think they didn't really have a solid idea for it. Lego Batman, I like. But yeah, they kind of dipped in quality after that. I'm probably one of the few people on the planet not seeing Lego Ninjago. It's okay. It feels like a sort of Power Rangers movie basically if you look at it from that point of view. But I would put it at C, maybe just before Fast and Furious.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's probably a good compromising from position, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we've got Kung Fu Panda. I'm going to start with Kirk on this one.
I've only seen the first one. I liked it. It was charming. But again, I mean, it's just some of these animated ones there's diminishing returns on them. So I would probably go scroll up for me, please, Malcolm. I just want to see what we got up there. See, I'd have it over. See, I mean, personally, I'd put this over How to Train Your Dragon, but I don't want to put it that high. I'd say like D range.
Chris Rebats will put Kung Fu Panda.
I'm gonna go B range. I actually the first movie I love. I mean, Alvin is definitely one of the best Disney DreamWorks animation villain from the DreamWorks era. Like, and the motion aspect is great, and the comedy again, and like the Deadpool is good. I love the first two so much for that the villain and and how emotional it gets. I mean, Panda Genocide, we would never see that in animation.
Yeah, that's all good. I'm with Kirk on this. I think D after Jurassic Park, I think is probably the best place for it. I like all three. I just don't love them. Richie, whereabouts would you put Kung Fu Panda?
I haven't actually seen all three of them. I've seen two. I've seen 1 and 2, and they're charming. But they're not ones that like stay with me. Oh my god, like they're not like I don't really hold them in high regard that they're amazing or anything. So I think D is fine.
Chad, whereabouts would you put Kung
I
Fu
actually
Panda?
think these ones, are all three really great. I really want to revisit them because they're really good movies. I think. I would also actually put it before Dragons, but that's not like a slam on Dragons or anything. It's actually just a really good compliment to Kung Fu Panda. So I would probably actually put it in A before Dragons.
But yeah, I mean, but with that, like, it's going to be where it is, and I think there's probably a good place
And
for it.
be Jurassic Park, and I mean, Jurassic Park had one good movie, and then the rest.
I mean, it's one of those ones like anyone else wanted before Jurassic Park.
Yeah, could we at least put it before Jurassic Park?
I think it makes sense to have it before. I would say before Jurassic Park, sure. Yeah, there you go.
All right, there we go. Next up, we've got Mission Impossible, the newest entry into fandom. Chris, whereabouts would you put Mission Impossible?
Hey, I mean, the one bad movie, the rest of them are great back to back. I mean, the first one not debated, but like 3, 4, 5, 6 are really great. That's a great. And I think 3 is really underrated. That doesn't get much love. I think.
Yeah. I've still only seen the first 3, and what I've seen, I still like. So I mean, I'm happy with it being a Richie. Whereabouts would you put Mission Impossible?
I really enjoyed these. I haven't seen the latest one, but I do really, I think they're all pretty solid except for the second one. But the second one has its moments. It does have its moments. So I would say A or B, probably. Yeah, A is fine. Yeah, A.
Chad, whereabouts would you put?
Actually, Richie, I think the last one may be the best one. They accomplished some of the craziest stunts in that one. I really love this franchise. I think 1 is good, 2 is bad, but the final scene is kind of cool. But then from there on, it just gets better and better and better. I would actually put this. I would keep it in A because of 2 is still in there, but I would put it before Indiana Jones, to be honest.
Kirk, whereabouts would you put Mission Impossible?
My perfect spot for this would be on level B between Batman and Spider-Man. I like it. I don't mean that as disrespectful. I like it. There's other stuff I like better.
Yeah. So I think everyone said A, but I think to make everyone sort of happy, I think I might leave it there just because. I mean, let's face it. No one's really going to be perfectly happy with this, but
you can't make everybody happy, man.
Next up, we've got the X-Men franchise, which is the all 6 movies, the Wolverine movies, and
Deadpool. Fucking hard.
Seriously.
But yeah, this is one that I like them. Like, for me, with the Wolverine trilogy, in there, I'm probably going to lean towards high D, maybe low C, but Richie, whereabouts would you put X-Men?
This franchise is so wildly inconsistent in terms of quality. I have no, it's so hard to work out where you put it. I like so for you get your first three, the third is dog shit, and then you got what the prequels. Yeah, like I mean, like let's talk about Dark Phoenix and other one, the better. And yeah, I don't know. I would say E to be honest. Like after Batman.
Ooh.
Chad, whereabouts would you put X-Men?
Yeah, man, this one's really hard because I mean you have the first two X-Men are really good. I would say the good ones. I'll just count the good ones because there's fewer of them. I would say 1, 2, Days of Future Past, First Class, but then rising above all of them, if we're counting the Wolverines, I'd say Logan is the best one easily, and that one's just like a great film. I don't know. I think the quality of Logan would have to let me put it before. Well, no, because Jurassic Park's great too, but I think it has more good movies than Jurassic Park does. I would put it in D. I would actually put it ahead of Kung Fu Panda, like exactly where it is right now.
Yep. Kirk, whereabouts would you put X-Men?
See, yeah, it's all over the place. I like the whole first trilogy. I'm in the minority. I don't mind 3. I mean, it's not great, but I enjoy it. First Class is good. Days of Future Past is my favorite, and after that, the First Class movies kind of fall off a cliff. Logan's the only good Wolverine movie, but it's great. We count Deadpool in this.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I would have put it high.
I would bump it up a little more then.
See, and I'm hit again. I'm kind of on Deadpool, but I would say overall the good outweighs the bad. I'd probably put it. I'd have a little higher. I'd have it at C, somewhere in the C tier.
And Chris, whereabouts would you put X-Men?
When you guys were talking about counting how many good ones, there's 7 good ones that I like. One movie is okay, if we watched it the other day. I put it in the C tier, right? Because Logan's so good. The Future Past is one of the best teams like Hangover Franchise, and that's 1 and 2 great. I like Deadpool. Like I had to put it C because the stuff I love about it, the bad is so bad, but there a couple bad and Wolverine in the middle for me. Two Wolverine in the middle for me.
Yeah. So, is that a good spot for it in the C tier?
I think that's perfect, actually, right where you have it.
Yeah,
That's good.
Now that that's all right. That's fine.
Next up, we've got another really polarizing franchise, Star Wars. I'm going to go to Kirk first on this.
Oh no, please don't. The original trilogy alone. I mean, if we were doing this in 1998, obviously it's God tier. The prequels drag it down, and then, I mean, I really like one of the sequel movies. The other two are not so great. And that's the thing. I wish I could go back to Star Wars when I was a kid, because there's just so much baggage with it now. Like, there's just so much crap that goes with Star Wars. I still, just because of its legacy, I mean, there honestly may be more bad movies in it now than good, but because of its legacy, I still got to put it at
A. Chris, whereabouts would you go for Star Wars?
I'm gonna go. See, I've been counting off the top of my head again. I like counting the prequel, counting Rogue One, counting Solo, counting Rise of Skywalker, counting Clone Wars movie, but bring it down a lot. I put in C because it's a really great one. I do like Rogue One, I do like Solo, and I do like Force Awakens. I ain't a big into fan of that. I put in C. Like the bad one is still bad, but it's complicated. Like X-Men to me, right? Trying to think which one. Does it good outweigh the bad? Does the bad outweigh the good?
Yeah. But with that being said, I'm actually happy with it in A tier myself. Like I'm one of the ones I like. I actually like all the saga movies. And that's all I'll say on that. But I'm not going to give a big review on why I like Rise of Skywalker. But anyway, Richie, whereabouts are you going to go for Star Wars?
Yeah, yeah, I'm not much of a hater on the new movies as much as other people are. I love the saga movies. I love Rogue One, for example. So yeah, I think A is fine. Like obviously there's a few movies that you can't that kind of prevent it from going to God tier, but I think for its legacy alone, it deserves to be A.
And Chad, whereabouts would you go for it?
Yeah, I kind of agree with Richie there about it being an A. I was thinking maybe of putting it in front of Middle Earth. I'm gonna blow it up and just say like, I think the Last Jedi is in my top 3. So, but the Force Awakens is great. The prequels, yeah, are bad, but I guess they're fun to watch somewhat. But then, if you think of like recently with like the Mandalorian and stuff, I'm kind of hopeful for some better movies. But also you got Rogue One in there, which is really good. And then, but I didn't like Solo. So, but yeah, because of the legacy, I think right there might be fine actually.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's probably a good place for it. To be honest, so it is going to be sit in A. And with that, we go on to Die Hard, which is totally a Christmas movie.
Very much.
Don't get me started, Malcolm.
One of my
I,
favorite.
I have notes.
But yeah, Die Hard. Like I enjoy all the movies. I'm probably going, but compared to what we've got, I'm probably going to go at the top of detail above Kung Fu Panda. I don't think I can put it any higher than that. But Richie, whereabouts would you put Die Hard?
The thing is, I mean, I like Die Hard 2, and Die Hard with a Vengeance. They're good. I fucking hate Good Day to Die Hard. I think it's one of the worst fucking sequels I've ever fucking seen in my life. So in that regard, I know it's biased, but I think it should go at least go to a fucking E. I hate it.
Chad, whereabouts would you put Die Hard?
Tell us how you really feel about that, Richie. I would. This one's tough. Yeah, I mirror that. I watch Die Hard every Christmas because I love that as a Christmas movie, and it just has a great movie, and it's just like it's such a good franchise, except for that one that Richie was talking about. I only saw it once, and I don't really care about it. And I don't love 4. But like the first 3 are like a really fun trilogy, even though none of them have come even close to reaching the heights of the first one. But I would still oh man, I have to still put it before like Fast and the Furious, dude. I think I would probably put it. Yeah, I would probably put it right before Lego and C.
Kirk, holiday opinions aside, whereabouts would you put Die Hard?
Yeah, this is one great movie and then a bunch of crap. I mean, I would say I like Die Hard. I think Die Hard with a Vengeance is okay, but the rest, and I think it's just real soulless. I mean, especially those later movies, it's just Bruce Willis completely phoning it in. So again, I mean, this is like a Jurassic Park territory where the original is amazing, not a Christmas movie, but amazing. But the rest is trash. So I'd put it down like in F or G.
Ooh.
Chris, whereabouts would you put Die Hard?
I keep it around C and D. I love 1. I think 2, 3, and 4 fun guilty pleasure watches. Yeah, I put it around C and D.
So yeah, I think I'll keep it there because I think the majority have gone around the CDE area. So I think about there probably. Actually, I might
Did I point out I hate the fifth one? Just sort of put out.
Yeah.
That movie fucking sucks. Anyway, cool.
But next up, we've got Star Trek.
Oh,
Not a hard one.
Richie, whereabouts were you going to put Star Trek?
So is this which Star Trek as a whole, or the J.J. Abrams thing, or what are we doing?
All of them.
All of it.
It's all of them.
All right, cool. Again, it's quite inconsistent as well, but like I guess in the same vein of like Star Wars, it's got legacy and stuff like that. So it's like it's hard to sort of put it too like low or too, you know. So I would still go maybe. I'd go with B, to be honest.
So B.
Yeah.
Yep. Chad, whereabouts would you put Star
Yeah,
Trek?
Go up to the B if you can, real quick. So, have to put this. Yeah, definitely have to put this after Star Wars. I mean, because they both have great legacies, but like honestly, like I've seen way more Star Wars than I have of Star Trek. I really like Wrath of Khan as the old one, but that's the only old one I've seen. But the J.J. Abrams ones are really good. I like those a lot. You guys are gonna have to help guide me on this one. I don't know what. I would probably leave it there, or maybe put it down in C. I don't know.
Kirk, whereabouts would you put Star Trek?
I mean, this is personal for me. I love Star Trek. I always have. I grew up with it, the movies and the shows. Even the bad movies are still fun. Like they're not like, and it's not the thing about Star Trek. It's not as like for some reason like people don't cling to it like Star Wars. Like it's not like like religious like those Star Wars. So like you don't get as furious about it when you're like, oh, it was still a fun little jaunt whenever they do something stupid like Star Trek 5 or something. But I put it high, especially in the Abrams. Again, I think there's one really good Abrams movie. The other two are kind of like, yeah. But still, like I said, I've never like been angry watching a Star Wars movie or been annoyed or been frustrated. They're just fun. So I would put this at A.
Chris, whereabouts would you put Star Trek?
I am in the B and C range. Like but going through the different Star Wars, counting which one I love, and counting 5, and that's saying something I do not like number 5 of the original. The only one of the Next Generation I like at that first content, and then the newer one I love. I love 2. I love Voyage Home. I like 6 for what it was. I put it in the B range.
Yep. It's going to stay in the B range. Like I enjoy them. I just don't love them a lot. But yeah, so I think I'll keep it there because like everyone's been sort of dancing around B and C. So, but next up we've got Bond, James Bond.
Hi, don't like Star Trek.
And I'm going to Chad first on
Okay. This is sadly another one that I haven't seen a lot of. I tried to watch one of the older ones, but I've really only seen the Daniel Craig ones. Unfortunately, I'm going to watch them. I really love Casino Royale and Skyfall, and I think the other 2 ones are good, not great for the Craigs. And I think there's a lot of good older ones from what I've heard, but also from what I've heard is that it's kind of like it's equal bad and good. So I would say it's in the 50 in the middle. So with that, I would probably myself, because you guys are going to have to help guide me, I would probably, I guess, put it in C somewhere because it probably has more bad than Star Trek does. So I don't know. I'd probably put it I'd put it before Fast and the Furious, probably something like that.
So Kirk, whereabouts would you go for Bond?
Again, this is another one you have to consider the legacy because it's been around so long and it's been so consistent. I mean, if you think about it, there hasn't been a time in the past 60 years where there wasn't a James Bond movie somewhere on the horizon, and really no other franchise could say that. And it's kind of like a three-ring circus where there's something for everybody. I don't think anybody's going to love all the movies, but maybe you like the more serious Craig stuff. You might like the cheesy Roger Moore stuff, or you might be somewhere between with Pierce Brosnan. But there's something for everybody to love in this, and they're always fun. They're always trying. You get just like I said, the legacy. You got the great music, the great songs, all that. So just based on that, I would probably go A on this. If you want to put it low A, that's fine, but I think it doesn't deserve to be any lower than A.
Yep. Chris, whereabouts would you put Bond?
Oh, they got my former roommate not in this film. I don't go. I am between B and C because there are some really bad Bond movies. There's a lot of great one. I go lower B because I do like a lot of the James Bond movie. My roommate would kill me if he find out I put it in B, but I had to be my personal opinion at B for me.
Yeah, I am. I'm probably going to keep it in A. I think it's fine here. But Richie, whereabouts would you put it?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't. There's a lot of James Bond movies I haven't seen, but I guess the same with Star Wars and Star Trek, you've got to really take the legacy into account as well. So I feel like it can't really go any lower than A.
Yep. And I think keep it there. Just under Star Wars, I think is a good place for it. See if there's any obvious ones here that we haven't done. I'll knock out some obvious ones quickly. So, Big Mama's House. Anyone?
Lower.
Probably I would even punt maybe going after Twilight. I'm not gonna.
I don't like Big Mama's House, but I don't hate it with a passion like Twilight does.
Yeah. Also, Big Mama's House is at least kind of funny. I don't know if they're problematic or anything. I guess they kind of are a little problematic, to be honest. It's kind of weird, but they're funny. I feel like I probably would put it before Twilight, but I'm fine with that at H or I, probably I.
Yeah,
I think that's a good spot. I mean, I've never seen any of them, but I mean, that's about what I expect out of them, so I'm okay with that.
The Hangover franchise.
I think one's pretty good. 3 is all right. The second one is a remake of the first one. But yeah, I'd actually go. I don't know. The second one was really just pointless. I would actually go E. If I'm being honest.
Yeah.
A. Yeah.
I would probably put it at I would either put it there or maybe at F right before Pokemon because the first one's really funny. They just kept tanking it for me, so.
Yeah, I mean it's one where you have one movie that's just like a fantastic comedy. That movie is great, and then they just drove it in the ground with the second one. And I kind of respect the third one because they went completely in a different direction, but it still wasn't a great movie. So I'd probably put it high F.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll keep it there for now. But it had the potential to just drop into F regardless.
Should we get rid of the focus stuff quickly?
Another obvious one here. Fantastic Four. This is.
I'm fine with H or I. I really haven't seen them, and I haven't heard good things.
Kirk, anything for Fantastic Four?
I would go H. I don't think it's. I mean, even when you put in Fanforstic, I don't think it's as bad as I. But I think low H, very low H.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think it'd be exaggeration to put it over Big Mama's House. So yeah, I think H is fine.
Yeah, the only thing keeping it from getting low grade and Michael Chiklis and Chris Evans were the only saving grace of the original Fantastic Four.
I mean, for me, I really hate Fanforstic, but I actually probably would have gone above Pokemon myself. But never mind. And no, wasn't planning on putting it in F tier just for the joke. But next up, this is another franchise which people did not like that I decided to lump them all together, so I split them up again. We've got the Planet of the Apes trilogy, the Rise, Dawn, War trilogy. I'm going to go to Kirk first on this one.
Yeah, I'd put this in, and again, I think it was John Wick. The only reason I wouldn't put this higher is because of the longevity issue. But I'd go B on this.
And Chris,
I am going to go God tier. All three of these movies I love to death. Like, yeah, Woody Harrelson not great. No, the third one not great at two, but man, they are great movie back to back to back. And any circus, like, he should have got Oscar nomination for at least for emotions.
yeah, I'm with Kirk on this one. I like them. I just don't love them. I mean, I will probably put it about here myself. But yeah, I probably wouldn't put it in God tier straight away. But Richie, whereabouts would you go for this one?
I love this trilogy. I don't know if I'd put it in God tier, but I put it in A. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a really almost a perfect trilogy in my opinion. It's really great. So yeah, I'd put it in A.
And Chad,
I'm totally with Chris here. I would put it in God, but I would put it right after Toy Story because it's like that has 4 great movies. So
yeah. So I think what I'll do is I think I might do. I think everyone's sort of dancing around God A and B. So I'll probably maybe put it maybe in the middle of.
Before Star Wars.
yeah.
But
I'd probably put it before Indiana Jones too, myself. But
yeah, I mean it's one of those ones. Like, I'm trying to find. It's like I think there's probably the better place. Like I personally would have gone after Star Wars, but I think it's definitely tough. But with that, the rest of the Planet of the Apes movies, and I'm going to start with Kirk.
Yeah, I love these movies. I love the aesthetic of those old ones. Again, I mean, I watched these when I was younger, and just I love Charlton Heston, the first one. I just love that old like dystopian '60s kind of psychedelic sci-fi feel to it. So I mean, the movies in the franchise aren't all great, but they're all a lot of fun. So I would probably put this. I mean, for me personally, this would be an A. I'd be fine with it going B.
Chris, whereabouts would you put Planet of the Apes?
For the one I have seen, A. I mean, I only seen the first and bits and pieces of the other one, but I love the first one to death. Why?
Right, so got 2 for A so far. Like it's sad. The only one I've seen is the remake that Tim Burton did.
Oof.
As I said, every other Planet of the Apes movie. But
okay,
yeah,
it's probably mine to B because we're counting the remake.
But yeah, I mean, just based on the going legacy in there, I think about there is probably a good spot. I personally don't think it should be in the same vein as the newer stuff, but I think B is probably close enough to it. Richie,
Yeah, well, for counting the Tim Burton remake, which I thought was boring as piss, I would probably say C.
And Chad.
yeah, because the first one is really good. It's different than the Rise trilogy. But since I haven't seen these, like I've seen the Rise, I want to respect it, but I don't think it's as good myself, to be honest. Especially if you have that Tim Burton one in there. I think right there in B, I probably would actually put it. Well, I don't know. I would actually keep it there, to be honest.
Yeah. But with that, we go to Pirates of the Caribbean. Chris, whereabouts would you go for Pirates of the Caribbean?
I put it in the D range, honestly. D. Like, the first movie is great, and then some of the other ones are okay, and then the bad are really bad.
But yeah, I do. I'm the same. Like, I like the first 4 Pirates of the Caribbeans. I don't hate the 5th one, but it's not good. I'll probably put it at the top of the D range.
Yeah.
Wait. Well, just wait and see. Richie, whereabouts would you put Pirates of the Caribbean?
I hate this franchise. I think the first one's good, and it just goes downhill from there. I think they're lifeless. They're boring. I just cannot get into them. I would actually put it at F.
Chad, whereabouts would you put Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yeah, I really like the first one. I don't hate them all. I really like the first one, but I think after that, like the third one is so long and boring. And it's just like, yeah, I would say after the first one, I could just remove all the other ones. The first one's really good. I would probably put it right before Pokemon, right after Pokemon, because like Pokemon's at least kind of got a leg.
And Kirk, whereabouts would you go for Pirates of the Caribbean?
First one's great. Second one might be better. I love the second one, but after that, it just falls off a cliff. As a franchise, I'm probably going E.
I think if we just because if we average out, E will probably be where it lands. I think there maybe even before the Hangover actually.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, okay.
But I mean,
I'm just happy enough.
as I said,
of a pen. I like that better now.
It was kind of like the last good, what's his face? Johnny. What's his name?
Johnny Depp?
Yeah.
But talking about Johnny Depp, we're on to Wizarding World now. But yeah, for me, those that know me know I love the Wizarding World. It's definitely a very high A tier for me. Richie, whereabouts would you go for Wizarding World?
So Wizarding World is Harry Potter, and then the Fantastic Beasts.
The Fantastic Beasts.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like just with Harry, I didn't like Fantastic Beasts all that much, but with Harry Potter, you've got to put it at least in A. So yeah, A's fine.
Chad, whereabouts would you put Wizarding World?
This is one of my favorite franchises, like of all time. I mean, books, these movies, because of the Fantastic Beasts and the legacy's a little bit tarnished with some people. I think I definitely can't put it at God tier, but I would keep it exactly where you put it because I love like all of the Harry Potter movies.
And Kirk, whereabouts would you put Wizarding World?
I like the Harry Potter movies. The Fantastic Beasts, not so much. That really drags it down for me. But it's still pretty good. I mean, it's a lot of good movies. So I'd probably go B.
And Chris, whereabouts would you put Wizarding World?
I would keep it at A, but lower tier. Like, as much as I don't like K.K. Rowling right now, I do love the Harry Potter movie to death.
Yeah,
it's fantastic to be hit and miss. I like the first one. I don't like the second one.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like I'm saying, anything that is outside of the actual movies does not count for. Shouldn't really count for what you think about the movies. To be honest.
Yeah.
So, any objections to Wizarding World being there, or
Not for me.
I'd probably put it behind Indiana Jones, but I mean, I'm not going to quibble.
Yeah, I would put it behind, but it's not totally engaged.
Next up, we've got a Mummy franchise.
Oh, cool.
That
Hey.
easy to say that done.
And I am sorry, but I'm going to start with Kirk because I know what he's going to say.
Is this just the three?
I'm going to include the Scorpion King in this as well.
Okay,
But yeah,
so the Brendan Fraser Mummy universe.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. For me, this is an H. I do not like these movies at all. I hate the Mummy so much. This version of it. I'm going to go H on this.
Chris, whereabouts would you put the Mummy?
Too fun movie and then too bad one. I would put it around like E.
Yeah, I mean, I just rewatched the Mummy movies this year, and yeah, I'm kind of Kirk on this one. I think they're fine. I'm happy with being H tier. I know we're probably going to get angry death threats from Jacoby, but
Don't listen to Jacoby on this cheese, oh man.
But Richie, whereabouts are you going to put the Mummy?
I'm Team Jacoby here, man. I actually really enjoy this. I enjoy the Brendan Fraser mummies. I think I mean, they're guilty pleasures to me. I'll be honest, but I enjoy the hell of them. So I wouldn't put them like high up, but I would put at least like an E.
Chad, whereabouts would you put it?
I should have like nostalgia for these. I like saw these as a kid in the theater and stuff, but yeah, I mean, even though Brendan Fraser I think is great action wise in it and stuff, and he's hilarious. I would be definitely fine with it being right exactly where it is right now.
I hate all you guys.
Sorry, man.
Better than Pokemon.
Heavily disagree there, Chris. But next up, we've got Alien franchise.
It's gonna be hard as well.
First two movie great, but rest I'm gonna go with E. First two movie are great, but the rest of the franchise just to go die away somewhere in a hole.
I have to abstain from this one. I mean, going for legacy alone, I'd probably go D, but I've never seen these movies yet. I really can't find them anywhere either, which is.
Oh,
But well, I mean, they're not streaming anywhere in New Zealand, so
It's a bummer.
it is. It really is. I really want to watch. Richie, whereabouts would you put the Alien franchise?
I guess like you know, we sort of like like X-Men is this franchise is very inconsistent in quality. So it's really hard. Alien and Aliens are some of the best sci-fi ever made in my opinion. But then it's very iffy. I would probably go but based on that, I'd go a B.
So okay, so we've got B. Got Therese. Chad, whereabouts are you going to put Alien franchise?
yeah, this one's really hard because the first one's like a perfect movie. The second one is like right up there. 3, I didn't really like. A lot of people defend it. I didn't really like it that much. The fourth one is not very good, even though Joss Whedon wrote it. And Prometheus I actually liked, but I didn't love. Covenant is okay. I would put that just below like Prometheus probably. I would have to put this around C. I would say above X-Men. I would say above Back to the Future, but I wouldn't put it above Middle Earth.
I strongly disagree.
Whereabouts would you put the Alien franchise?
See, this is another one. I mean, this is like Die Hard to me. It's one amazing world-class movie in Alien. I know I'm in the minority, but I hate Aliens. I think it takes like this beautiful movie and just turns it into like 80s schlock action garbage. And the rest of it just goes downhill from there. So again, as a franchise, I'd probably have it lower. I'd probably have it F or G.
Shit.
So I think I'm gonna keep. I think I'll. Yeah, I
Man.
think. I
Oh,
think I think I might leave it there for
Oh
now.
my
You
God.
know, The Hangover's a little better than
Come
Alien.
on.
Am I right?
You think that?
Good.
I would at least put it at the beginning of E there, to be honest, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing it move up. Well,
I'd put it over Pirates of the Caribbean as well. Come on.
yeah, 1,
Yeah.
2, or 3 there. I'm not. I think it's okay.
Yeah. So there.
Yeah.
That's fine.
All right. Next up, we've got Nightmare on Elm Street.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is one that I enjoy, but it's also one that when you bring in the remakes, it does tarnish a little bit. But I would still put it in D at the, above Kung Fu Panda.
Ooh.
Richie, whereabouts would you go if Nightmare on Elm Street?
This is another franchise that's inconsistent. Obviously, the first one's one of the best much kind of horror movies of all time. I love New Nightmare. I love Dream Warriors. But yeah, it's hard. I would probably keep it where it is.
Chad, whereabouts would you put Nightmare on Elm Street?
Yeah, this one is tough. I love horror. And this franchise I just watched not that long ago. Yeah, the first, the third, and the New Nightmare are really good movies. I think the first one being the best, and the other ones aren't great, but they're fun. And it's pretty scary. And there's a lot of like weird body horror with like pizzas and stuff. I would keep it there or move it up a little more. I like it more than the Oceans.
I would.
I'll put it before Oceans.
Kirk, whereabouts would you go for Nightmare on Elm Street?
Yeah, this is but I haven't seen them all. The ones I have, I mean, there's some good stuff in there. There's some cheesy like '80s, horror slasher stuff in there. But I think this is another one you have to go by legacy, just what this movie did, and just the lasting impact it's had. You got to again, if we're talking the franchise as a whole, I think you got to go high. I'd go B or C on it.
And Chris, whereabouts would you go for Nightmare on Elm Street?
I've seen the first one. I've seen the remake. I've seen Freddy vs. Jason in the middle of watching New Nightmare, and I would put it in C. Yeah, C for me.
Yep.
Nice.
So there is everyone happy with it being there?
No, I like it there actually.
Yeah, that works.
Yep. Right. Next up, it's going to be interesting to see how many people, but I know Kirk is probably going to enjoy this one. I threw in the Universal Monster movies as a franchise.
Okay.
I mean, it's no secret I've not seen them. Richie, have you seen them?
So what we talk about like
Frankenstein, Dracula.
the Wolfman, the original, not Universal Monsters.
So it'd be Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Invisible Man, Wolfman, The Mummy, and then sometimes people throw in the Silent Phantom of the Opera and Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Okay.
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah. I'd have to go with. I'd probably get help on this. I'd have to go with Legacy. I haven't seen. I think maybe I've seen. Yeah, I've seen Frankenstein years and years ago. That's about it. So I guess, but Legacy, I guess you'd have to put around at least a B or a C. But I'm not the best person to ask on this one because I haven't seen the majority of them.
But Chad, whereabouts would you go for Universal Monsters?
Yeah, so I haven't seen. I have they have box sets of these, and I have a couple of them. But we haven't gotten around to watching them yet. But I will say, the most recent, The Invisible Man, with Lee Winnell, is fantastic. I'm fine with putting it in B. And I don't know. I guess I could leave it right there. To be honest, I don't know.
Yeah, just because I know Kirk's seen them. Chris, have you seen the Universal Monster movies?
Unless recounting the recent remake, no. And on my list to do before the Random Act coming up in October. But no, I have not seen.
So basically, this one is going to be all on Kirk to decide where it goes. So,
Honestly, I would put this at A. I mean, for me personally, it's God tier, but I know that's going to be like kind of high for everybody else because I love these movies. But I think A is good, like you guys said, just on legacy. I mean, look at the other movies we have on here that have been the other franchises that have been influenced by these movies. But they're all really good. I mean, some of them are better than others, but I mean, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Invisible Man, and Creature of the Black Lagoon. If you haven't seen those four, I definitely recommend seeing those. Those are some really, really good movies, and yeah, they're good on their own right, but just again on legacy, I think they're A level.
yep, we're about there on A. Do you think there'll be Kirk?
I think that's fair. Yeah.
Next up, we've got the DCEU.
Let's see how controversial can we get.
Interesting.
I'm going to start with this one because I like the DCEU. I'm going to say I think it is comfortably a C. I love it. I even like the Suicide Squad, which in trivia matches you're going to have to be careful how you answer that because of the new one being called the Suicide Squad. Richie,
I would say D. Maybe at the end. D.
Chad, whereabouts would you go for DCEU?
So yeah, I mean, with this one, I didn't love it at the start, but it has been getting better. I'll say I'm really excited for the new Wonder Woman. I liked Wonder Woman a lot. I surprisingly liked Aquaman. I did not like Suicide Squad, but I think Shazam might be the best one in there. To be honest, I love that movie. I would definitely put it in C, but maybe after Oceans, I don't know, or before Fast, I don't know.
Yep, I mean, eventually we are probably going to we are getting the new Wonder Woman, but at some stage we don't know when. Kirk, we're going to put DCEU.
I'm thinking E, but I'm looking at all those E tier movies, and every one of those franchises has at least one great movie in it, which I don't think DCEU has. I mean, there are some that are okay, but I don't think there's anything as mind blowing as the best movies in the E tier. So I would actually say F, and I put it at the top F.
Wow.
Chris, whereabouts would you go for DCEU?
So DCU is complicated. I mean, I defend Man of Steel to death. I see Batman vs Superman. Okay, I don't like Suicide Squad that much. I like Wonder Woman. I like Shazam a lot. I enjoy Bird of Prey for what it was, and Aquaman was fun guilty pleasure. Put it in C, yeah. Why?
So C is going to be potentially for now though, because it could drop off. I'm going to leave it after Oceans because I think Kirk would murder us if we put it any higher. But next up, we've got the Godzilla franchise, which is a big one.
I do have to abstain for this one.
I'm the same. Like I've only seen the '98 Godzilla, and
don't judge it on that.
I only seen the more recent Godzilla.
Yeah, going by legacy, I'll probably put it there. But I mean, Richie, whereabouts would you go for Godzilla?
I didn't like the '98 Godzilla. Thought it. Yeah. I mean, it's it's schlocky '90s fun, I guess, but I didn't like it. I hated the remake. I didn't like that at all. King of Monsters is a bit of a step up, but yeah, it's largely forgettable franchise to me. They could have done a lot better. I would probably put it at E.
Chad, whereabouts would you go for Godzilla?
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of like a thing with a legacy. A lot of people love the kaijus and all that stuff. I'm sure it's really cool. I haven't really seen one that I absolutely loved. I did love Bryan Cranston's performance in that one movie, but other than that, yeah, I would be fine with it being like, E-ish. Maybe like right after. It has to be after Alien for me, to be honest. I'd put it right in between Alien and Pirates.
But Kirk, where would you go for Godzilla?
I mean, this is another one that has just such a deep history with like the old Toho studios in Japan and everything. And I mean, yeah, a lot of the recent stuff has not been good. But just how ubiquitous. I mean, that's Godzilla's up there in pop culture with Frankenstein and all these other monsters. I mean, it's
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want to see it go any lower than a B.
Yep. So I think because I think it's everyone's been we've had a few E's, we've had a B. I think if we leave it in there, I think it's probably a good spot for it.
I only seen Kingdom Monster and I only seen the movies when we not counting King Kong Sky on it, so I
And
can't really.
actually, I'll probably be inclined to put it there above Lego and just yeah.
That makes sense, yeah.
Mm.
Next up is probably going to be a quick one. Night at the Museum.
A.
Richie, whereabouts would you, I don't know who. I think Chris said E. I'm probably going to. I think I will probably agree. I think about about.
There are some
Yeah.
great moments to them,
Okay.
like Robert Williams last scene is really a tearjerker in the last one.
Yep. Richie, whereabouts would you go for Night at the Museum?
Yeah, they're fine. They're largely forgettable, to be honest. E's fine.
Chad.
I like it right exactly where you put it. I think they have a little more heart in them than the Pirates, so I'd put it right there.
Kirk.
Yeah, I mean, I've only seen the first one, and it's just not my cup of tea. I'm not a Ben Stiller or Owen Wilson guy, so this is not something that's up my alley. E's fine. I would actually have it probably. Yeah, I mean, just because if you look at them, they're both family franchises and kind of hit that same niche, and I just think Pirates does that a lot better. Is a lot more memorable, so I would have Pirates over it. But other than that,
Yeah, I mean, I think. Yeah, I think you are. I think it's perfect there. Next up, we've got Hunger Games.
That's gonna be hard.
This would be interesting.
4 of these.
Chad, I'm going to go for you.
I don't know, man. I mean, I would have. It's hard with everyone put Alien in a weird place, so it's hard to start, ranking these things. Yeah, I would probably put it after Batman and Alien. I don't know. I mean, this is a really fun YA series. I think Catching Fire is really great, and the first one's really great, and the last two are kind of okay. So, yeah, I think right there is probably good. To be honest, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's safe to say when it comes to these young adult franchises, none of us are really in the demographic for them. But Kirk, whereabouts would you go for Hunger Games?
no, that's very accurate because I remember seeing this movie and my wife wanted to see it. And it was us and a bunch of I think we were the oldest people there by probably about 20 years. But I was not a fan personally. I would probably have it if an E, lower E. I'd even be fine with it going down to F.
Yeah, Chris, where'd you put Hunger Games?
I would put it above Night the Museum Hangover. The Catching Fire at least is one of the better young adult adaptation movie. It's really good second movie in a franchise. And the other one, okay. I'm a big fan of the book, so in my opinion, the fact that because I read the book and how much they changed for both. But I love Catching Fire. I would put it above Night the Museum and Hangover, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think the franchise is fine. I'm kind of Kirk here. I think F is probably a good place for it. Richie,
I don't know. I would put. I think F is a bit harsh, to be honest. I think I would put it probably sort of around E. Probably honestly just before Pirates of the Caribbean. That's just me. I think there's better movies overall. Like I think it's a stronger franchise overall than Pirates.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree with that.
yeah. So I think I'll leave it there because I think is E. With it. Next one is an interesting one because it's Police Academy, which
Abstain.
But I mean, this is one that I enjoy these movies, but I don't think I can put it anywhere higher than G. Richie, whereabouts? What are you going to do for Police Academy?
I feel like there's only really one or two good Police Academy movies, and it just sort of it gets more and more. I don't know, just the difference in quality as it gets more stupid. But so I would probably look. G is looking pretty bare, so I'd probably put G as that's fine.
Chad, whereabouts would you go for Police Academy?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first one's probably a fun 80s comedy or whatever. I haven't seen the rest of them. This is the same. But also, like, not to get like political, but I'm sure they don't hold up. Like, I'm sure they're kind of problematic, to be honest. I would probably leave it there, or I don't know, even I would. I would probably put it like at H, to be honest. Actually, before the Mummy, maybe, I don't know, or after the Mummy.
Kirk, whereabouts would you go for Police Academy?
Yeah, I think G is a good spot for it. I mean, these are movies. I mean, they're like staple 80 comedies, but like they're not something you don't really hear a ton of people talking about. Police Academy like you do some other franchises. So I think G's solid.
Yeah, and Chris abstained, but
yeah, I have yet to see these, but they are on my list of stuff to watch.
right. So,
What we got?
What? So, got a few quick ones here. The Resident Evil franchise.
I would put that closer to the end, maybe an H. I think the first one's fine. The rest kind of are really stupid.
So one I, one H. I'm definitely going I on this one. Chad, where are you going for Resident Evil?
I honestly, I haven't seen all of them all the way through, and I just don't. I mean, they're just kind of mindless horror movies. So yeah, I'd probably maybe put it in front of Big Mama's House, but that's fine.
Kirk, whereabouts are you on Resident Evil?
Yeah, I'm fine with it being a high I. It's those movies are pretty rough.
Just play the game. That all you need to do. Just play the video game.
Yeah, leave it at that.
I prefer the first movie than any of the video games at all.
Ooh,
my God,
Evil 7.
But next up, we've got a franchise in which Kirk is probably going to want right here. It's Scary Movie. Kirk.
Yeah, I've only seen the first movie, and it was literally one of the worst movies I've ever seen. So it drove me away from ever seeing any of those again. So yeah, I will have that. I would put that with Twilight. I would like one A and one B for Twilight.
Chris, the Scary Movie franchise.
As much as I love Leslie Nielsen as the President of the United States, I think he honestly one of the more funny aspects of the film. Yet it's fine. I don't love a lot of them. There are funny moments here and there, but I would put it above Twilight and above Big Mama House, honestly.
Richie, whereabouts would you go for Scary Movie?
I actually love the first one. I think it's fine. I watched it recently. I think it's good. I think the second one's good, but I do at the same token, I do hold Scary Movie responsible for the downfall of the parody movie. Like it's the whole subgenre has just gone to shit. So I would probably maybe put it at H.
I mean, personally, I think the downfall of the parody movie started when Friedberg and Seltzer started doing Date Movie and all that, but never mind.
Well, they came from Scary Movie, so they're...
Well, yeah. But that being said, I do not have the Friedberg and Seltzer movie franchise here, so...
that would be a
but Chad, whereabouts would you have
gone?
Just
to keep this brief, I would maybe put it just at the beginning of I, to be honest, probably, because I mean a lot of them are funny, but yeah, Richie nailed it. It just kept getting worse and worse and worse, and you know.
Yeah, I mean, I actually slightly enjoy these movies, but but. I'm going to keep it there. I think they're fine. I actually prefer Twilight over them. Another quick one here is the Medea franchise, but anyone not want it a bit higher than I?
I'm fine with
I
that.
I feel like I
So-
actually saying I haven't watched any of them.
I haven't seen any, but if the people who have tell me it's an I totally buy it.
Um,
The only
uh,
one thing that made me laugh is when she used a chainsaw to cut the couch in half, and that thing something.
Right, so another couple of quick ones. They're both YA movies. I've got the Divergent franchise. Anyone not?
They're largely forgettable. I'd probably put. Oh, I don't know if I'd an I, but I'd probably put it like and probably H. Like the first one's fine, but it's not nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen them. But any objections?
I mean, I haven't seen them either, but I'd probably be okay with throwing them an I, but if someone who
I mean,
thinks that it's H quality, then whatever.
yeah, I mean, it's
Sure,
one of
they're
those ones that could eventually go into I. But next up, we've got the Maze Runner. Anyone not want it higher than an I?
I was including
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I would have it higher than an I. I think the first one's really good.
That thing. It's better than Divergent. In all
Yeah,
And,
I mean, I've only seen the first one, but it is better than Divergent, definitely better than Twilight. So I wouldn't mind having it on H or even if somebody said G, I
it's
would.
just I can G. I can G's fine. Put a G.
Uh,
I'm cool with it in 8.
It didn't offend me as a book fan as much as the Divergent.
I'll put it low G.
That's fine.
Next up, we've got the Shrek franchise. Chris, I'll go to you first.
Hold on. I am going to go and probably. Can we go up a bit so I can see what we have in the
Yep.
upper half? I put it in D. I like the first two movies. I like fantastic movie. I like, and I don't hate Puss in Boots that much. A lot of people do. Like, I would put it before Kung Fu Panda. Like, honestly.
Yeah. I'm happy with the Shrek franchise being in the above Kung Fu Panda. It's great, and I think it's one of those ones like I just rewatched them all recently, but yeah, Richie, we've actually go for Shrek.
I think D's fine. I think Shrek, the first one's obviously kind of a classic. The second one's pretty good for a sequel, and it sort of dips in quality after that. But they're not offensively bad or anything like that. They're just like sort of lesser than. But yeah, so D's fine.
And Chad, whereabouts would you go for Shrek?
Yeah, I think the first one's really good. I think the ones after that, some of them are good and some of them aren't really that good. But I would actually keep it in D, but I would swap it with Kung Fu Panda because I don't think there's a bad Kung Fu Panda at all.
Yeah, back and forth. Yeah, Kung Fu Panda have free great movie. I don't know why it's telling D.
But Kirk, where would you have gone with Shrek?
I'm not a big Shrek guy. I would probably go on E or maybe even F. But if we're gonna go D, I'd probably have. I mean, I don't know if it's better than Jurassic Park or not. Kung Fu Panda definitely should be higher. And there's, I mean, I would put it behind. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it go behind anything there, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, that's fair. Right, next up we've got the Rush Hour franchise.
Ooh,
You know how I feel.
Chad, whereabouts would you go for?
Okay, so these movies were really like fun when I saw these both in the theater, and I really loved them. I don't think they're great movies, but they're really fun action movies, and I think that partnership with Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan was fantastic. The third one I just watched like for the first time recently. Terrible movie, very offensive. I don't like Brett Ratner like at all now. So that it doesn't tank it for me, but it makes me want it a little lower. Let's see. Can you scroll up? I would definitely put it after Alien, but I would put it in front of Pirates.
Kirk, whereabouts would you go for Rush Hour?
I've only seen the first one, and I was not like. I mean, it's just completely forgettable for me. I had no interest in seeing the others after that. If we're gonna go, I think See, I like the. I mean, I get only judging by the first movie. I like the first Hangover a lot more than I like the first Rush Hour. So, I might put lower on E, but I'd have it. I mean, E's fine.
Yeah. Chris, I know where you're going. Well, let the people at home know where you're going.
I enjoy you put it F. I like the first two. I hate the third one. It's so offensive on a lot of level.
The third one's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, like with the Rush Hour franchise, I think they're enjoyable movies. But I think there is a good spot for it. Richie, whereabouts would you put Rush Hour?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the Rush Hour thing. I love Rush Hour 1. Rush Hour 2 is a really good sequel. Rush Hour 3, yeah, that's quite a bad movie. I don't really have a problem with where it is, to be honest.
So next up, we've got The Matrix. Kirk, whereabouts are you going for The Matrix?
Man, this is one where The Matrix is amazing, but it's actually worse because of the sequels. Like my ability to enjoy The Matrix is detrimental because of the two following ones. Again, I mean, the first one, standalone, when first time you see it's amazing, it's a game changer. But the rest of it is terrible. Yeah, F isn't a bad place for it. Maybe you know what? Screw up. Let me see. What else? Screw up. Just let me see what's lower than that. Or scroll down. I'm sorry. I could go as low as H on this because of just how horrid those last two movies are. Because I mean, like I said, it's one of the few franchises where the follow up movies make it harder for me to enjoy the original.
Yeah. And that's totally fair. Chris, whereabouts are you going on The Matrix?
Honestly, I would put it before Pirate because the first Matrix at least is better than any of the Pirate sequel. Like, and honestly, like I love The Matrix. It's the Animatrix, okay. The other two movies, but I would honestly put it in the E range above Pirate. Right.
Yeah. As someone I'm a big defender when it comes to Reloaded and Revolutions, but I think I know that they're still like they're still not as good as the first one. I'm fine with it being F. I would have it above Pokemon myself, but Richie, whereabouts would you go for The Matrix?
I'm kind of with Kirk here. I think the first one is one of my favorite movies, but then the first two are just kind of ruin it as a franchise. I guess we can sort of revisit it this once, like the fourth one comes out, and see where it stands. But I would actually put it at a G.
Yeah. Chad, whereabouts would you go for The Matrix?
Yeah, I mean, I would kind of disagree, about my enjoyability of the first one isn't tanked by, I think, because that works so well as a single film that if you just forget about the other two, then it's still just great movie. And then there's also hope for the next franchise. And this also, if Matrix never happened, we don't get John Wick. I put it right after Alien, an E.
I've put it, right after Alien.
Yeah, I'm going to give the majority here. I mean, I don't like it being above higher than F, but it's one of those ones I decided that but anyway, next up we've got the American Pie franchise.
That's
More
more than
counting direct-to-video. Let's see.
Yeah, like it counts sort of everything because it's all connected by Jim's dad. But it's one of those ones that I like the movies, but I think I'm probably going to. I would put it above The Hangover, but I don't think I'll put it any higher. Richie, we're about to go for the American Pie franchise.
Well, yeah, kind of like what Chad was saying with Rush Hour 3. This is like, if you watch American Pie now, it is problematic as fuck. It does not hold up at all. And so if you watch to that lens, it's hard. But yeah, I don't know. If you put in the DVDs ones, it is somewhat like it's hard. I would put it lower than an E, to be honest. just think these kind of comedies don't really work these days. I'd put it maybe just before Pokemon.
But Chad, whereabouts would you go for American Pie?
As far as like teen sex comedies, this one is one of kind of like the better ones that's kind of funny. I don't know if they're problematic, but really I've seen before. I think they're fine. I would keep it exactly where it is, to be honest. I think I like some of them more than The Hangover, to be honest.
Kirk, whereabouts would you go for American Pie?
I gotta concur with Richie on this one. I mean, it is problematic. It doesn't hold up because of that. Because I don't think the comedy itself holds up very well, and the sequels didn't get much better. So I would put it high F.
And Chris, whereabouts would you go for American Pie?
I would put it above The Hangover and Rush Hour. I actually think American. Some of them have funny moments, like, and Eugene Levy definitely keep it from being ran half the time. Like, his stuff is very funny.
He's great.
I mean, him calling the police the fuzz and then trying to jump out.
But anyway, I'm going to try and get some more. So basically, from what everyone said, I'm going to leave it sort of there because they're going to knock out some quick ones here. Let's go for Alvin and the Chipmunks. Anyone not going higher than an I?
Yeah, I would say that's an I, but that's an I. Yeah.
Maybe after Resident Evil, I would say.
No,
Yep.
it works for me.
They go together. It looks like it's one big title.
Probably fun kids movies, at least. Very.
Yeah, I mean, just because they're fun is why I'm happy with them being there. Another easy one here, for a different reason, Man with No Name trilogy. Anyone not going about an A or higher? Anyone going any lower?
I can say this is like the good, the bad, and the ugly in those, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that one. That's a great movie. I haven't seen the others, so I guess I'll have to take your guys' lead on this. That one was a really great movie. I don't really know where I could put it. I think that's probably fine if there's no bad ones in A somewhere.
But Kirk, whereabouts would you go for the Man with No Name trilogy?
Yeah, I mean, they're great. They're classic. And just the fact, it's based, the original Fistful of Dollars is based on Yojimbo Kara Kurosawa. Just another really great legacy film, trilogy and franchise. So I think A is fine.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is another trilogy I've only really seen Good, Bad, the Ugly, but this is one that I'd probably almost argue they could be God tier. But Chris, whereabouts would you go for Man with No Name?
I only seen most of Good, Bad, and Ugly. I still have planned to sit down sometime this month to watch all three of them. But yeah, based on the legacy and based on the stuff we're seeing, I keep an A. I mean, hi.
And Richie, any thoughts on Man with No Name?
I've only seen like you guys. I've only seen Good, the Bad, the Ugly. So, but I know they're classic films. So A is probably deserving.
And I think I'll put it there above Rise of the Planet of the.
I would personally
end
of A, but I can't really say that with any credibility.
Any thoughts about there, Kirk?
I think that's all right. Yeah, I think that's solid. Placing for
A. Another quick one here. I've got the Naked Gun franchise. Anyone about an H around there?
I think the first two are pretty good, but I guess they're very hard to watch in hindsight for the OJ. They're very funny. I'd probably put them a bit higher than an H, but but it's not a trilogy that people are going to be like, oh yeah, that like people talk about necessarily. Yeah. Maybe a G.
Yeah. Anyone out chat?
Yeah, I think it deserves higher than H. I mean, parody isn't my like go-to form of comedy, but I mean, this is better. I mean, Leslie Nielsen's the best at it. So, and I mean, he's charming no matter what. So, I mean, if you want to go like a G, I think it's fine.
Yeah, I think it's actually kind of high art with the comedy, with the parody ones because of Leslie Nielsen, but then they have OJ in it, so I don't know about that.
This one
Yeah.
I'm going to if Peggy's watching, I'm going to apologize to her because I know she doesn't want anyone to do this before Trilogy. Chris, I know you've seen it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I am like God tier on this. This is probably and I regret not putting it when we did Trilogy, but this is honestly becoming one of my favorite trilogy all the time. Like, all three movies are perfect back to back to back. Like, some of my favorite dialogue in any Richard Linklater movie. Really great relationship, kind of great look at a relationship from beginning to getting back together and then marriage and what marriage is like. So good. You guys haven't seen before Trilogy. Really a fun watch for all three.
I haven't seen it. Richie, have you seen the Before Trilogy?
Yeah, I wouldn't put it God, but it's really good. I'd put it A.
Chad, have you seen the Before Trilogy?
Yes, I love this trilogy. Richard Linklater is just a dope director. I agree with Chris. I would definitely keep it in God tier, but I would keep it exactly right where it is because I don't think it's better than the Toy Story franchise. But they're really sweet, fun, movies about romance and life stuff. And I think the first one's my favorite, to be honest.
And Kirk, whereabouts would you go for the Before Trilogy?
I've only recently seen the first one for the first time. It's just put it on Criterion Channel, so I haven't seen the rest of them. Apologies to Chris and everybody else. I hate this movie. This movie's a slog. The dialogue is so bad and cheesy and just like stereotypical 90s. I lived through this, guys. Back when I was in college, everybody tried to talk like this to sound smart, and it just was embarrassing to me. Because it's just so like surfacey and lame and trying to sound deep, and I hated it. So for me, this would be like a G or an H.
Ooh. Peggy didn't have a field day with it.
Well, luckily, everyone else has sort of gone that high range, so Peggy's probably going to be happy with being a God. Yes, so. But next up, we've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
And you know how I feel about that.
Are we including Michael Bay? We're including the 90s and Michael Bay.
I'm down for being lower. I don't really know much about this franchise. I don't know if I hear some of the old live actions are okay or good, but I don't really care about this franchise. I would put it maybe above Resident Evil and I.
I'll fight you for not putting it. Don't put on I. There's two of the 90s ones are really good. I think it's probably just, but I probably got nostalgia goggles on because that was my favorite kind of franchise when I was a kid. So, but yeah, like the third one is not that great. Michael Bay, I think I'd argue the first one is fine, but yeah. I would say somewhere around H or a G.
I put it in H because of Richie's love for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I don't think it's I bad. The first one is okay, and everything else, like the second and third one, I thought were pretty bad. And the first Michael Bay, but I actually kind of like the second Michael Bay, just the fact that they leaned into like the craziness of it, like went for like the original cartoon feel to it. So I didn't mind that one. So yeah, I mean, overall it's pretty bad, but I don't think it's I bad.
Yep. So high. So the high end of H, about there above the Mummy.
Now we're all good. Yeah.
I put the Mummy above it, but yeah, I want to do people who don't like them, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. With the exception of the animated one, I like the animated one just fine, but I don't really like the live action stuff. I think just yeah.
Yeah.
Can we throw away an Ice Age?
So anyone not wanting Ice Age and I?
I put it in H.
I think it's okay for H.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put an I. That's kind of harsh, but like I think the first one's fine. But yeah, they kind of. I feel like they sort of made sequels if they could.
I mean,
Afterwards.
Simon Pegg made some of the other one at least tolerable. At least he had some funny moment in the other one. Like,
Yeah. Despicable Me franchise.
H.
I love this franchise. I think that's really good.
Anyone not want this?
I would put it. Can you scroll up a little bit?
I put it in D.
above D.
Like,
Yeah,
I can.
I would put it above. I put it above Pokemon.
We're factoring this in,
Yeah.
the Minions in on this, right? Too.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I'd go
Yeah.
F at the highest, and I put it above Pokemon.
The first two movies are good enough to put it in. Like,
I don't know. I probably majority rules here, but I didn't like Minions, but I liked the first, and I didn't mind the three Despicable Me movies. I acknowledge the third one's not that great, but I thought it was fine. But yeah, I personally put it at an E. But
No.
yeah.
But this is going to be interesting one to see where it's going to land. The Saw franchise.
Ooh, so
not coming. We did. Five Minutes have not came out yet.
I mean, this is
I put it
Spyware has
in
not come out yet.
I
I mean,
put
but
it in
the
F.
yeah.
Like,
yeah, I'd put it higher than G for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll let you go, and then I'll go real quick. I just want to say something.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Saw movies. I would put it in F above the Despicable Me.
Yeah,
Go, Chad.
I think the first
would've put
one.
it above.
I think the first
Okay.
maybe two actually are, or maybe three are actually like pretty. I would say 2 and 3 are good movies. The first one I would say is a good movie. The first 3 are very enjoyable. It gets kind of bad from there, but I really love James Wan, and like Lee Winnell's career after that. It's just like I'm loving. So I would put it at, because of its legacy. I would keep it kind of where it is, maybe a little higher in E, but
Kurt,
fine.
I'd never seen all these, and then just over the past couple months ago, I had to watch all of them for trivia, and maybe watching them all one after another sequentially might have been like detrimental to my enjoyment of it, because I just got kind of bogged down by it. But I think the first one's great. The second one is kind of interesting, and then the third one and after are just like, I feel like it's a Saturday, like the movies feel like a Saturday Night Live skit about itself, because like it's just the same thing over and over, and like it's just I cannot tell you what, like, you know, who what happens in Saw 4 versus Saw 6. Like they all just blend together. Like it just somebody's in the trap, somebody dies, and it gets old for me quick. What did everybody else say? Everybody else is saying what?
I think everyone else has said F above.
I mean, I would probably say G, but F is fine.
Yeah, I think like the first Saw movie I loved. Second one was okay. Third one, actually, out of the other things, I didn't mind the sixth one that much, because at least I thought with the medical house plotline was interesting at least.
A lot of the traps and stuff are really genius. Well thought out.
And the only time I felt bad for the victim one in number 6, like you kind of rooty for him a lot.
Hang on, guys. Sorry.
Can we throw in Underworld maybe? Does anybody like those? Or
Which one?
Oh yeah, Underworld. Anyone not wanting Underworld in I've
only seen the first one. I mean, if somebody really likes it, they want to go higher, I would be okay with that. But
I put it in
that-
H. Like, like the first movie, and I do like the third one, but go into the past. So like, I put it H. Like,
I'm fine with consensus on this, because, like I said, I've only seen the first one.
Yeah. So I've got one for H. Anyone else for H? Otherwise, I will leave it in I.
I'm fine with it right there next to Resident Evil. They're the same kind of movie.
That's fine.
Yeah, you're talking about Underworld?
Yeah.
Yeah, H probably. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, H.
About there for H then.
Yeah. Above
So
Denver, Yeah.
above Divergent.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
All right. Next up, we've got Rambo. Kirk.
First one's really good. Second one's okay. Third one's not good. And the new ones have just kind of been like blah. I mean, this is middle of the pack for me. Scroll up for a little bit for me, Malcolm. Let me see what we got. Excuse me. This is probably an E or an F.
Here on F. Chris, whereabouts did you go for Rambo?
Taking how I feel about the last one out as someone who is a misfit, I would put this above like a E. Like I do like the first Rambo, and I enjoy not the more recent one, but one before just because of a fun Rambo watch. Yeah, I put it in E. Like,
I'm not a big fan of the first Rambo. I haven't bothered watching any of the others because of that. I would have gone I myself, but Richie, whereabouts would you go for Rambo?
I think these are fine. These are pretty fun. I don't know. I would. I'm a bit of a fan of the first one, and I also like not the latest one, but I like I think it was 2008 one. I thought it was pretty good. I would say, I think it's fine where it is.
And Chad.
Yeah, I've only seen the first one. I thought the first one was pretty good, actually. I would put it maybe a little higher, to be honest. I would put it probably after The Matrix. I think the first Rambo is probably a little deeper with like PTSD and stuff than Pirates.
Which means next time something goes to an E, it's going to knock Rush Hour down to F. Next up, we've got, let's get this one out the way. The Robert Langdon trilogy, which is Da Vinci Code, Angels and Demons.
rightfully deserving.
Forgot about that one.
I think everyone should get started
H.
once.
So, Chris said H. I personally would actually go G above Police Academy. Richie, whereabouts would you go for the Da Vinci Code, Angel, Demons, and Inferno?
No, I'd land on H. I think it's very forgettable. This trilogy. I don't
The
think
book
many
is so
people.
much better.
I don't think
I
people
would-
really care.
I would probably like leave it where it. I'm sorry. Is this not a free for all? I would probably leave it where it is, to be honest, because I mean they're still like directed by Ron Howard. I would put it above the Police Academy and stuff.
Which means Kirk, whereabouts would you go?
Honestly, I got upset. I haven't seen any of these. I got abstain on it. I'll go with majority on it.
I think just because everyone's like it's around G and H anyway. I'll probably I'd actually just leave it there, to be honest.
Tom
Actually,
Hanks is America's sweetheart. So
what I'll do is because I mean it's
I
one thing,
know, but like if you read the book, the movie is so.
I mean, I agree. The books are better than movies. That can be said for just about every book adaptation out there. So,
No, some of these are just like how much the movie infuriated me when I read the book that they based on. Some in my opinion.
but this is going to be an interesting one because it's the Jumanji franchise, and I'm throwing it to Zafira because it's loosely connected, even though not really. But
which says the Thora?
Zafira is it's part like it's written by the same guy. Like everyone considers it part of that franchise. But as I
Hey
said,
Malcolm, I'm going to switch to one of my other team because my phone is on 5% at the moment.
Yep, that's all good. Before you go, whereabouts would you go for Jumanji?
No, I did come back on. I just did try my iPad to see what.
Yeah, as I said, very quickly, where would you go for Jumanji? Then that way I could go to everyone else
Yeah.
first. Yes.
All right. I would put it in C, C or B because I like mostly all of them to death. Like.
But yeah. So for me, I'm going to be the same. I would actually go C myself. Richie, where would you go for the Jumanji franchise?
I would say high C. I liked obviously I love the Williams one. I love the first the rock one. The latest one, it's fine. It's a bit. I don't like it as much as the other two, but it's a good movie. So yeah, I think C is fine.
Right. Um, Chad.
So I have nostalgia for the first
No, I
Jumanji
don't.
movie. I don't think it's actually a good movie, really, but I have nostalgia for it. I like it. But I thought the follow up with The Rock was really good. I haven't seen the sequel to that, and I haven't seen Zathura. I would probably actually put it after Alien and E, or after Matrix, to be honest.
Kirk, where would you go for the Jumanji franchise?
Yeah, I don't have nostalgia for the first one, so like I really don't think it's a very good movie. The new ones are pretty good. I haven't seen Zathura, so I'd probably put it about I'd say probably about a D.
D. So I think, yeah, I think D was actually the consensus. I'd probably put it there above Kung Fu Panda. Which means we're going to find something else here. The Bill and Ted trilogy, which is going to be interesting. And Kirk, where would you go for Bill and Ted?
I like the first one. I hated the second one, and I was really pleasantly surprised by the new one. I mean, I don't think it was. I honestly went in expecting to see one of the worst movies ever, and it wasn't that bad. Like it was. I mean, because those anytime you wait 15, 20 years to put out a comedy sequel, it's trash. And they actually didn't do too horrible with it. Again, personally, not one of my favorites, but just again, I mean, at this point, this movie's got a pretty strong legacy. So I'd probably I'd probably put it like around the D.
Around the D. Chris, where would you go for Bill and Ted?
I think he's frozen.
Maybe. Anyway, I'll go. We'll wait and find out. Yeah, I'm one of those ones. I like all these movies. I'd probably put it there, just above in there, but yeah, but I think that's a good place for it. Richie, whereabouts would you go for Bill and Ted?
Yeah, yeah, like I love the first one. Second's fine. I recently saw the third one. I thought it was great. I was obviously surprised. Yeah, I thought it was actually really quite good. So yeah, I'd probably put it C, to be honest. But that's just me.
Chad, whereabouts would you go for Bill and Ted?
Yeah, I like all three of these movies a lot. I wouldn't call them great films or anything, but they're really fun comedies. There's a little bit of problematic with the first one, but other than that, I really do like these. I think they hold up really well. They're really funny, and I mean Keanu Reeves. I would still put it like around like E, to be honest. No, you know what? Because there's no bad ones. Really, arguably Bogus Journey, but I actually kind of like that one. So yeah, I would probably put it at the end of D.
At the end of D?
Something like that. I don't know.
Yep, no, I think that's probably a good place for it. Brian Michaels and Joseph Olivas might disagree with us, but they're not here. But let's see. Let's the Muppets franchise. Chris, can you hear me? Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Chris, where'd you go for the Muppets?
I would put the Muppets right around like B.
Around B?
Yeah, I love the Muppets. Like they're really too bad movie, but the good movie really good. Like the Muppets from 2011, one of my favorite Muppet movies.
Richie, where'd you go for?
Yeah, I think like with some of these, like the Muppets has got good and bad movies, but I think you've got to take legacy into account with the Muppets because everybody loves the Muppets, so I would say big.
Chad, whereabouts would you go for Muppets?
Yeah, I mean, with Legacy, I think the only ones I really like a lot are the first Jason Segel one, and then the Christmas one. I haven't really seen too many of them, to be honest, but I would probably actually put them lower, maybe in like C, probably under Godzilla. I would probably put them like just above Lego Movie franchise.
Kirk, whereabouts would you go for Muppets?
Muppets, I would go. I mean, the first three are great. I'm not a fan of like that secondary, like post Jim Henson trilogy of like not really Muppet movies. And then the two new ones are pretty good. But again, you got a huge legacy here, and just the idea of the Muppets and who they are really great. So I think B is a good place for them.
Yep. Any objections to being above Planet of the Apes, or is that fine for it?
I won't argue.
That works.
Yeah, that's fine.
Next up, we've got let's go for another easy one.
Time.
The Ernest trilogy.
Oh shit, you got that on there?
I put the Ernest movies there. But Kirk, whereabouts would you go for Ernest?
Yeah, I. This is definitely an I.
Any objections to I?
Rest in
No,
peace.
it's an I. Like,
I would probably at least put these in H because I think they're really fun and just he did like that dude was such a like fun guy. I don't know. I just thought like they were really fun. I really actually kind of like Ernest Saves Christmas. So stupid, silly, funny. So put it there.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll put it there for now, but it's probably going to drop down. Next one, another relatively easy one. Crocodile Dundee. Richie, I'm going to start with you on this movie.
I wonder why you start with me. G'day. Anyway, first, yeah, I would probably put it around like just. I mean, obviously it's iconic in Australia, but but overall, I'd probably put it like an E or an F, to be honest. I or even a G. Just because I don't know, the first one's pretty good, second one's meh, and third one is just they tried to Hollywoodize it and it didn't work. They tried to So yeah, probably around G's fine, I reckon.
Chad, whereabouts would you go for Crocodile Dundee?
Yeah, that's actually kind of fine. I liked the first one and the one where he went to Los Angeles. Paul Hogan is good in the role. It's kind of semi-iconic. I don't know. They're fun movies. There's really nothing wrong with them. I think. I think that's a good place for it.
I've not seen any of these, so I can't. Thank you.
Whereabouts?
Yeah, I mean, Richie seems to know what he's talking about. I saw the first. I'll go with whatever he says. I saw the first one when I was a kid. It came out, and I barely remember it. And I didn't see the other one. So, whatever. Like I said, these guys seem to know a lot more about it than I do.
But next up, this will be an easy one. Pitch Perfect. Anyone not want to go higher than a G on this?
Pitch Perfects are kind of fun movies. I actually kind of like those ones. Oh damn, that's like an echo or something. Yeah, I guess that's fine to be honest. I think they're good though. Some of them.
Yeah, I like the first one a lot. The second one is a step down. That's when Elizabeth Banks first tried to hand it directing and wasn't really good. Third one is it flips the genre on its head and it turns into a completely different kind of movie. So I don't know. I would put it in an F, to be honest. I think it's
an F. Yeah,
I think it's like ahead of Pokemon, to be honest.
Yeah, that's for me.
Kirk, whereabouts would you put Pitch
Yeah,
Perfect?
I mean, there are a lot of movies I have to watch as Compromise with my wife, and as far as compromise movies go, the first Pitch Perfect isn't that bad. The second two are pretty awful. I would personally put it lower, but I mean, I'm not going to complain about it being an F.
Yeah, and I put it in where it is. I liked the first one. The other two are just forgettable messes.
But yeah, this will be an easy one. Land Before Time.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one is good. Anyone not want to go higher than an H? Or anyone
I've
want
only,
to go higher?
I've only seen the first one, so I kind of can't really comment. I've only seen the first one. I haven't seen the 90,000 sequels afterwards. But
I
look,
think the first
I
one.
would put it in a G. I've seen like the first two are actually pretty good, and then some of the other sequel are okay. I might put it in G.
They're kind of like fun kids movie, and the first one actually gets really deep and stuff. I mean, it's George Bluth or Don Bluth, sorry. So that's, I mean, yeah, the first one is really good, I think, even though it's super short. Yeah, I'd probably put it above Police Academy, to be honest, but I don't know. I'm fine with it being
Police
below.
Academy.
Too.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm like just a little bit too old for this one. Like this one came out I missed this one by maybe like a couple years, and then the rest of the franchise, obviously. So I know a lot of people have a lot of nostalgia for it. So I'm going to defer.
But next up, we've got the Friday trilogy.
Friday.
I love Friday. I love
Chad.
Yeah, there. I mean, Ice Cube wrote these while he was like doing music and stuff, and it shows him and his Ice Cube as a character in Straight Outta Compton writing these, and they're really funny. Yeah, I really like them. I think I wouldn't call them great movies or anything. I think you're kind of like right where it should be, behind Bill and Ted's, I think.
Kurt, whereabouts would you go for Friday?
I really don't like these movies. It's just not my kind of humor. I think you can tell, especially the first one. It's definitely like untrained screenwriters writing a movie because it's just all over the place. I would go. Where do we have Ninja Turtles?
We've got Ninja Turtles in H.
I'd put this at H. I'd make it a high H.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen them for the first time this year. I mean, I don't hate them. I mean, I only sort of threw them somewhere just so I could have it on here. I mean, I personally would probably put them just there.
Yeah.
No, there.
Yeah.
Chris, whereabouts would you go for Friday?
I have yet to see any of them, but I hate what you guys just say,
And Richie, any?
I would probably put it at E, to be honest, but like the lower end of E. But I really enjoyed this trailer. Well, yeah, yeah.
It does have less bad ones than Saw.
but yeah. So next up, let's do Narnia. And yeah, I like the Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, but the rest are just meh.
Yeah.
I'm going to go above Ninja Turtles and
I think the best thing to come out of those movies was the Lonely Island SNL.
Yeah.
Chronicle, Narnia, we're the Chronicle.
So.
But Richie, where would you go for Narnia?
I think it's good where it is. Yeah.
Right, that's really quick there.
I mean, I would put it above, right, on the Langham stuff. For some of them, the book had you. The stuff I like in the other ones, rather than the stuff I like in the Langham stuff.
So
I mean, the one thing to say about Narnia is they couldn't finish it because like they got 3 movies into a 7-movie franchise and just were like, okay, we're done.
I mean, apparently they're trying for a 4th one, whether or not it's a reboot or not. But anyway, this is going to be an interesting one because I threw this one just because why not? It's the Lion King franchise, which is the animated, the remake, and the 2 straight to DVD sequels. I mean, this is one that the first one is really good.
Yeah.
everything else is just fine. But I mean, I probably would go just above American Pie myself. But Richie, where would you go for The Lion King?
I mean, yeah, like you said, the first Lion King movie is really good. The live action one is it's just the same, but it feels like just not as much spirit. Just feels like people really bored on Nyquil at a table read. But and then as Simple as Pride is pretty good for a direct to DVD thing. It's pretty good. I would put it probably, but maybe at like I don't know, maybe a. Where you got it? I yeah, but maybe an F.
Chad, whereabouts would you go for The Lion King?
I would definitely keep it an E myself, but I would put it above Rambo. Keep it below The Matrix because the first movie is just fantastic.
Kirk, whereabouts would you go for The Lion King franchise?
Yeah, I'm with Richie. I'd go F on this. It's the first one is obviously fantastic, but I mean that whole like '90s era direct to DVD was just so many generic cheap cash-ins, and then the remake was just another generic cheap cash-in that just was like offensive that it exists. So I wouldn't go any higher than F.
No, my childhood.
For me, I love the animated movie. Direct to video, okay. I love Keith Living You that the second one gave to us. But I would go E because I do like the animated one, and it honestly better than a lot of the other stuff in E. Then it might be right after the Matrix where I would put it. Like,
so yeah, I think going by consensus, it will be there. It will knock Rush Hour into F. But that I don't want.
there are so many Disney franchise that have direct to video live action things. Like,
But next up, here's another quick one. This will be interesting. Superman franchise, which is the original 4 movies and Returns, just because they consider Returns a pseudo sequel to 4.
is it so?
And I'll go to Kirk on this one. Where would you put this?
The first 2 are so good. Superman the movie and Superman 2 is even better. So that's fantastic. But if you're counting those 4, I mean, then you're looking at you're 2 for 5 at that point because the last 3 are all pretty bad. But I mean, even in the bad ones, Christopher Reeve as Superman, I think, is still my favorite performance in the comic book movie ever. I mean, he was just so good. He made me believe that, a guy could put on glasses and be a different person and people would buy it. But you got to drag it down because of those other ones. And I hate to do it, but if we're looking at the franchise, I would say probably E.
The E. For me, I'm a defender of Superman Returns. I do think it is a good movie, that could have been better. But even then, I can't, in good conscience, I can't put it a lot higher than a DE. So I'm probably going to go D for now. But Richie, where'd you go for Superman?
Thing is, if they didn't have if it wasn't tainted by the 4th one, which is like one of the worst films of all time, it would probably be a lot higher. But because I think that this is a prime example of a film tainting a franchise, and the 3rd one's not great either. So I would probably put it. I'd probably put it E, to be honest.
Chad, where are you going for Superman?
I would put it in E behind Alien, because I think the Batmans have more quality and the Alien franchise has more quality. But yeah, it's iconic. So behind Alien and E.
And Chris, whereabouts would you go?
I put it in E. Like, I love the first 2, but Superman Return and the other 2 tend to go away on a lonely island and die.
Which knocks Hangover down to F. Alright. Let's see. I've been personally dancing around for this one a long time, but let's get this out of the way. Transformers. Chris.
One great movie, one okay movie, one good animated one, the rest of crap. I'm putting it in F. Just because of Bumblebee, I put it in F.
Yeah. I've kind of started watching these movies, and it's one of those ones like I saw, but the first one I saw was Bumblebee, which is really great. And I actually don't hate the first two Transformers as well. I'd probably actually put it at the top of F tier myself, but Richie, where would you put Transformers?
I love Bumblebee. I don't mind the first one. The rest are really bad in my opinion. I would probably put it at G, and that's being generous.
Chad, where would you put Transformers?
I think F is definitely the place to put this because I think the first one is not terrible. I think all the other ones are terrible except for Bumblebee, which I think is definitely the best one. That movie was great in my opinion. So because looking at these other ones, I would put it in. Yeah, I would leave it there actually, to be honest, because I really like Bumblebee.
Kirk, where would you put Transformers?
I was originally going to say I, because I think that the Transformers movies are at least as bad as the Resident Evil movies. But you guys reminded me that Bumblebee exists, and Resident Evil franchise doesn't have a Bumblebee because that's a really good movie. So that would probably bump it up to an H for me.
Bumblebee.
But I think if we're going by consensus, I think G is probably the safe. And I think there's probably a good spot for it too.
Yeah.
This will be an interesting one. Viewer skew, whereabouts? The viewer skew. Richie, whereabouts would you put viewer skew?
That's really hard to say. So you got. I mean, I love Kevin Smith, so me personally, to me and biased, but I would say, look, I would say D, in my opinion. I like these. I like more of these movies than I dislike them. So yeah, but I say that with the knowledge that it's probably not gonna land there. It's probably gonna be somewhere around an F.
Chad, whereabouts would you put viewer skew?
Yeah, honestly, I like Clerks. I like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I like Chasing Amy and stuff. So there's some good ones. Kevin Smith is a great director, and he's just a really good guy. But we're just looking at quality of movies. I would push it down. I'd probably put it in E above American. No, I'd put it in E above Night at the Museum. No, damn it, I'm looking. I'd put it above Pirates of the Caribbean, to be honest. Yeah.
Where would you put viewer skew?
Yeah, I mean, I think an argument could be made that none of these are really good movies, but they're all fun movies, and they're pretty enjoyable. I think that's. I was actually going to say, between Pirates and Hunger Games, but I think that E's tier is pretty good spot for that.
And Chris, where'd you put viewer skew?
I put it in the same way as I did like most of Kevin Smith's movie. I need to see more of it from me. I think it's being how I feel about.
I think E's probably is a good spot for it. It's hard. It's one of those ones that it's hard to put it above a lot of that stuff, but you can't. A lot of stuff that's below it is worse. So yeah. So next up, let's go. Cornetto trilogy. Chris, where are we going for Cornetto?
I am a big fan of this franchise. I don't love the Rowan, but I do like it a lot. I would put it in the A range because I have fun on there's a film with more fun in British comedy. Yeah.
But yeah. So what we're about to say? To say A.
Yes, A range.
Yeah. I'm actually probably going to go a little bit lower. I would probably go in about middle of C. I think Hot Fuzz is great. Shaun of the Dead is good, and we'll put it about B actually. Richie, whereabouts would you go for the Cornetto trilogy?
It's probably my hottest take in the whole this whole stream, but I think it's God tier. I think it's amazing. I think it's an amazing trilogy. So yeah, I don't like there's some movies I like more than others, but I still think they're all great movies. So yeah, I would put it to God and God tier.
Richie, whereabouts would you go for Cornetto trilogy?
Chad, yeah, I would put
Chad.
I would put it definitely in God tier. These are great films. I would put them in front of the Before trilogy. I like them that much. I just love Edgar Wright.
And Kirk, whereabouts would you go for the Cornetto trilogy?
Oh my god! I just noticed that God tier Before trilogy got put in God tier. That's a shame. We have to put more stuff in God tier. Just knock that out. But I would put this. Seriously. If Before is God, then so is Cornetto. I'd put that before. I'd put it before that and Toy Story actually.
I'm fine with that.
Yes.
Next up, let's go Austin Powers. And this is one that I know is a very polarizing one, so don't know where everyone's sort of going with this, but anyone sort of want higher than a G?
Yeah, I would. I enjoyed this friend, but I'm biased. I think I've got a Full Metal random match coming up with Austin Powers. So, but not too much higher. Saying that, I would probably put it as an F. But
but Chad, whereabouts would you go for?
I would
Austin
put
Powers?
it right after. I would put it right after. I would put it in the. No, okay. I would put it right after Transformers. I think. And G.
Kirk, whereabouts would you go for Austin Powers?
I was just having a conversation about this with somebody the other day. Then when I first saw this movie, I was like, "Oh, it was pretty funny," but then it just got ran into the ground with all the quotes and everything, and it made me hate it. And then the sequel was just more of the same. And as a trilogy, honestly, as a trilogy, I'd make this an I.
Chris, whereabouts would you go for Austin Powers?
I would go up to a F or E. I actually think it's more funny and quotable than the Hangover and a few other things.
But yeah, I think where it is fine. I think but yeah, it's one of those ones I like it, but I can't justify putting it any higher than that. What?
Can we throw away Riddick?
Yeah, we can do that. Anyone not wanted an I? Anyone wanted higher than an I?
I mean, I've only seen Pitch Black, and I didn't think it was bad, but I really don't have any knowledge of it.
Yeah, it really doesn't. It didn't affect me either way, so it's I don't think it makes an impact either way. I think I feel like it's one of Vin Diesel's vehicles where everything he does must lead to a trilogy of something, whether it's interesting or not.
But yeah, I think about there on I is fine. I'm going to go get this out of the way. The Terminator franchise.
Oh, that's very
and I mean,
That's got to go higher than that, dude.
Chad, whereabouts would you put Terminator?
T1 and 2 are really great movies, I think, and I haven't seen anything other than that, but I think the last one people have been saying it's not bad. So yeah, I would probably put it in E behind. I would put it in front of the Matrix actually because T2 is a great movie.
Kirk, whereabouts would you go for Transform?
Yeah,
Terminator,
we
sorry.
got two great movies, and then Chad, you did yourself a favor by stopping there because the rest is garbage. 3 is really bad. Salvation isn't awful, but it's not good, and Genesis is just absolute. It's just a complete dumpster fire. And I haven't even bothered watching the new one, to be honest with you. So again, judging it has individually great movies, but judging it as a franchise, I would probably go F.
Yeah, mine would E. I mean, the first two would be something not that bad, but the rest of just let you go down in hell in the dumpster fire.
And Richie, where would you go for Terminator?
So you got the first two that are really it's really hard to grade it. So the first two are like amazing, and then you got like I think the third one, I think like that's I don't think it's great. It's got there's some elements of good movie there, but then like the fourth one's shit. Fifth one, less said about it the better. The latest one's fine. I didn't mind it, but yeah. So it's hard. I would probably punch for like maybe I don't know, like where's everyone else saying? Sort of like a
It's an E. It's via the
yeah. I would probably. I think maybe even F.
But yeah, I think I think that's probably a good place for it. Because it's like everyone's floating around E or F. I mean, I said it last time. I'm not even a big fan of Terminator and T2. I think they're not good movies. I would have gone much lower, but that's why I'm not doing a stream of myself. Just to no one would hate like.
Can we do the Scream franchise now?
Yep, we can. Chad, where do you want the Scream franchise?
Okay. This is like my favorite horror franchise, one of my favorite franchises. I think the only arguably bad one is the third one, and the rest are great, especially the first two. Can we scroll up? It's not God tier because of the third one. I would probably put it in A, but let me see everything else in A. Yes, so I would put it. I know it's not going to make it above Star Wars because of the legacy of that. I would put it in front of 007.
Kirk, whereabouts would you put the Scream franchise?
This is what I think it's good, not great. I feel like it just to me now feels a little bit dated, and I feel like the whole like genre has kind of even like movie like Cabin in the Woods. Like I think we've moved beyond the screen, and even Scary Movie kind of took what that did and made its own thing. So, for me this would be like a solid like C, like low B, high C.
They're like introduced meta horror, though. That's why I love it.
No,
Chris, where would you put Scream?
I would keep it in the remake play. I do like Scream a lot. There's another franchise that we haven't put out to where the play guy think does the meta humor a little bit better. But I do love Scream a lot. And 3 is bad. 4 is okay. I love the first 2 to death. Right.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I do like the Scream movies. I think there is probably a good spot for it on B. Richie, whereabouts would you go for Scream?
I actually think they're all good. The only one that sort of outliers the fourth one. I think it's fine. Yeah, I would probably put it around I think it's great, but I'd probably put it around B.
But yeah,
And we talk about the Evil Dead.
Evil Dead.
We can talk about Evil Dead. Everyone, for me, I do not like Evil Dead. It will be an I for me. Richie,
Oh, wow.
where would you go for Evil Dead?
Sorry. Yeah, it's an iconic franchise. I think you sort of it has to be one of the top tier ones. In my opinion, yeah, at least a B, but I would go A.
Chad, where would you put Evil Dead?
I don't think any of these are bad. I think the first one's really silly and campy, but it was super inventive and groundbreaking with what they were able to do on such a small budget. 2 is a fantastic movie. 3 is really fun, and I don't think it's bad. I think it's good. And then the remake was actually really cool that they kind of remade the first one, but like straight horror. I really like that one too a lot. So I would still put it like right behind Scream because I love Scream.
Kirk, whereabouts would you put Evil Dead?
This is another one I'm not too familiar with. I'll defer to everybody else on this one.
Chris, whereabouts would you put Evil Dead?
I would definitely put it in B or A rank because I love the Evil Dead movie, even including and because they were the continuation, the TV show also fantastic. But everything that Evil Dead did, my favorite from start to finish. I love Aria Darkness. I love the reboot. I love
So it's going to stay where it is sitting. Let's go for Ghostbusters. For me, Ghostbusters, I like all the movies. I do even like the remake, reboot, whatever you want to call it. But I mean, it's also going to be one of those ones I would probably put, because it's iconic and all that. I'd probably put it in E above Lion King, but I don't think I could put it higher than that. Richie, where'd you go for Ghostbusters?
Yeah, I think this is a franchise where like people have nostalgia goggles for. I mean, the first one's really good, but people are blinded. The second one's not that great in my opinion. I didn't like the reboot. Just thought the writing was pretty bad. So I think where it is fine.
Chad, whereabouts would you go for Ghostbusters?
Honestly, I would probably keep it right there, or maybe just behind the Lion King. No, I would keep it there because I actually, as opposed to the Lion King, I think the reboot was actually kind of fun, even though it might not be a great movie or even a good movie. But I thought it was fun. But the first one's really great, and I'm not sure about the second one, but I would keep it right there.
And Kirk, whereabouts would you go for Ghostbusters?
First one is one of the all-time great comedies ever. The second one doesn't live up to it, but I don't think it's as bad as everybody makes out to be. The reboot was trash. I would probably drop it down to an F, or at least a much lower E.
And Chris, whereabouts would you go?
Yeah, I would go a little bit lower E. I love the first one, but the rest are just just bad. Right.
I think that's a good spot for it on E, which drops Night at the Museum down to F. Right. Next up, let's do the Home Alone franchise.
Great.
Does this include the DVD? The DVD
is
good.
Does
this include one?
I'm back here.
Is this just 1, 2, and 3, or is it the DVD thing?
This is, I've been including DVD things on all of these, so it's going to include that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is one that it's good, but based on 1 and 2, I'm probably going to put it just here myself. But Richie, whereabouts would you put Home Alone?
I think this is a franchise they had a good idea for the first one and then just repeated the same idea the whole time and didn't have anything new to say of anything. I mean, they tried the third one, but it was just too weird to me. I think G is too high. I would put it at H.
Chad, whereabouts would you put Home Alone?
Scroll up. Can you scroll up a little bit?
Yep.
I think the first one's great. It's a classic. I love how they were able to make this movie and then get John Williams to score it. I think it's just a great classic Christmas movie. I love watching this one every year. And the sequel's even fun, even though it's so slapstick and silly. I would put it right behind, because the Terminator's in such a weird place. I would put it, because of those other ones, I would put it right behind the Terminator.
Kirk, whereabouts would you put Home Alone?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is, again, another one people have a lot of nostalgia for. I don't necessarily. I've only seen the first one. I never saw the other ones. So, yeah, I mean, F or G, probably.
And Chris?
Yeah, I am in the F range. I love the first two, but the rest are just like, especially when they recast like Kevin and one of directed video and recast Joe Pesci also well.
But yeah, so I think F is probably where everyone's sort of consensus. I think if we go here, I think it might please everyone.
Is it okay to put it right behind the Terminator, or do people object to that?
I mean, it's one of those ones I was thinking, like, everyone's been around F and G. I think if we...
That's true. Okay.
So I think if we go sort of middle of the range F, then at least everyone's somewhat happy. So
true.
Next up, let's do Friday the 13th. Kirk, I'll start with you on this.
I haven't seen all these. I honestly think like this is one that rides more on reputation than it does like actually. Because like the first Friday the 13th movie is not good. Like even by like 80s slasher standards, it's just like a really slow, boring movie. Iconically, I think you got to give it like I think it's more iconic than Nightmare on Elm Street, but I think the movies are better than Nightmare. I mean, I think Nightmare has better movies. So where do we have Nightmare at?
Nightmare is in C.
I'd put it at D then.
D. Richie, whereabouts would you go for Friday the 13th?
Yeah, these are the type of movies that, like, I don't know, like, I like them because they're kind of dumb, especially towards the sort of the end of the thing where Jason takes Manhattan and Jason X. But like, yeah, I wouldn't say that like I thought any of them are like great movies or anything like that. But like, you've got to take the legacy and into consideration. So I would go a bit higher and say C.
Chad, whereabouts would you go for Friday the 13th?
I've been rewatching this or actually watching a lot of these for the first time recently. I think the first one and Jason Lives are decent, but they're not good movies at all. So I would not have this even kissing C or D. I would have this much lower, probably, I don't know, E, F, G, probably around a G. Even considering the iconicism of Jason or whatever, still.
And Chris, whereabouts would you go for Friday the 13th?
I find it D. I haven't seen all of them, and the one I didn't like, but I needed the whole franchise to get honest about them.
I think I'm probably the one that's going to end up deciding this because everyone's been sort of dancing around CD, except Chad, but like it's CD is the common thing. I think behind Bill and Ted on D, I think is probably a good spot for it. It's good. I think the iconicism keeps up there, but I think the movies themselves are really not as good as Nightmare. And I've got some double ups, which I'm going to ignore. Let's go to Madagascar. Anyone not want to go higher than an H for Madagascar?
I would put it higher than Cars and Ice Age because at least they are more fun to watch.
Yeah. Kirk, any thoughts on Madagascar?
I think I've seen the first two. They're fun, they're cute, but I mean, they don't have to be any higher than that, as far as I'm concerned.
Chad,
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Right. I think I'd be down for it to actually be like right at the beginning of H, to be honest, because I think they're fun kids movies.
Richie.
I would go a low G, to be honest.
That works too.
I mean, I think everyone said H. I think I'll keep it there, but it's still technically a low G when you think about it.
I've heard the Penguin spinoff is actually pretty good too.
That's pretty fun. I like that movie a lot. It's very fun.
Let's go to Meet the Flockers. Richie, any thoughts on Meet the Flockers?
Meet the Parents is a good movie. I feel like, I don't think this needs to be a franchise. A franchise, to be honest. I just Meet the Parents is a good movie. It should be stated as a good movie. Like the other two have its moments, but like it's, I don't know. I would probably maybe go for a G.
Yeah, I mean, I like Parents. I like Meet the Flockers. I like Little Flockers. I think just after Crocodile Dundee is probably where I'd put it in G. Chad, whereabouts would you go from?
That works for me. I mean, I might bump it up a little more. I like Meet the Parents quite a bit, but yeah, I would keep it there to be true. Yeah.
And Kirk, Meet the Flockers franchise.
It would be lower for me. I'd probably have it at H. Like I said, I'm not a Ben Stiller guy, and I just hate what they did with De Niro in these movies, and it just dragged on and on with the sequels, and it's not good.
And Chris, whereabouts would you put it?
I definitely find it G. I love the franchise. That one have its moment of funniness. I don't like Little Flocker at all.
So yeah, I think G is probably where most people put it. I think if I leave it there, I think it's going to be one of those ones that keeps people happy. Let's go to Mad Max.
You're gonna go with me again?
Chris, whereabouts would you go for Mad Max?
Considering from the movie I have seen, I put it in a C range. I like Mad Max a lot. I like Fury Road a lot. I just needed the old them to get on their opinion, but Fury Road definitely bump it up.
Kirk, whereabouts would you go for Mad Max?
I mean, obviously we have Fury Road in this too, right? This is everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go about it. Jeez, because some of those early ones are kind of, but even they got their own little charm to it. I don't know. I think C's like a slow C is good for it, like bottom tier C.
Yeah,
I'm okay, or high D.
But Chad, whereabouts would you go for Mad Max?
Yeah, I mean, I would because Fury Road is a great movie. I would probably put it above Godzilla.
Richie, whereabouts would you go for Mad Max?
So you got the first two Mad Max are really good. Beyond Thunderdome really is just stupid and sucks. Fury Road is really great. I'd probably put it like around C or D. Just wherever you want to put that there.
Yeah, I think everyone's going C. This is another one. I would put an I. I really hate Fury Road.
Oh.
Where's that take button?
But anyway, that being said, let's go. I'm going to go for one of my favorite franchises because I think a lot of people might hate this, and that's Final Destination. Kirk, whereabouts would you go for Final Destination?
I've only seen the first two, the first or the third one. I honestly don't remember because it's very unmemorable to me. I don't think it's awful, but it's not something I'd highly rank. Probably be maybe like F or G for me. But if you guys love it, want to go higher, I'm not going to argue with you.
Chad, whereabouts would you go for Final Destination?
Yeah, so I'm definitely going to rank this middle of the road. Okay, so the fourth one I'm just going to get out of the way is barely a movie. That movie's like barely a movie, Just watch it because it's so bad. It's like worse than like The Room. I swear, The Room is hilarious. The first 3 are kind of fun, and it's fun to sit there and go, "How are they gonna die?" and stuff. 5th one actually, I think, is a good movie, which I wouldn't say necessarily for the first 4, but I liked 5 a lot, so I would put it middle of the road. Yeah, I would actually be fine with it, like right before Pokemon. I would say probably, or at the end of F would be fine. Yeah.
I mean, either way, if it would have ended up there anyway. Richie, where would you go for Final Destination?
If we were just sort of ranking my favorite franchises, I would probably go A or God tier. I think these are amazing. These are so dumb and fun. But yeah, I sort of concur with, and I concur with the 4th one. I don't think it's a great movie, but the rest are all good. I watched the 3rd one recently. So dumb and yeah, great. But I would probably punt for around I don't know, in middle of the road, maybe an E.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I like this franchise, so I think I'm probably going to put it. I think I'd actually put it sort of in between Home Alone and Saw, which I do find it funny that we've got Saw and Home Alone in the same tier. For many reasons. Chris, where would you go for Final Destination?
I like most of the Final Destination movie. I find it is like, do they get tedious? Yes, but they have fun movies. Sometimes a lot like the other franchises. Like the depth of creative, and the first movie still hold up well.
As we move these down, Ernest ends up in I.
I don't think we're going to see them go back to do another Final Destination in a couple of years.
Next up, we've got Men in Black. Chad.
So yeah, with this one, because there's only the 3, right? So the first
International as well.
Oh, right. Okay. I haven't seen International. I've heard it's terrible, and 2 is like known for being just a really bad movie. I love the first one. It's a really great movie. Great 90s movie. And the 3rd one I kind of liked. I don't know if it's a good movie, but I kind of liked it. So yeah, I would put it probably there. Yeah.
Richie, where'd you put Men in Black?
Yeah, I love the first one. I think it's a great movie. The 2nd and 3rd one is entertained by, but I can't in good conscience say that they're great movies or good movies or anything like that. The 4th one, the less said about that, the better. The chemistry was way off with the characters. Very boring. But so I would probably say like a G or an H.
Right, so
Yeah, in the same range. I like the first one. I think the 3rd one is actually a lot better than what people think. Like, especially Josh Brolin definitely especially about the 3rd one.
And Kirk, where would you go for Men in Black?
I think the first one's only. I don't love the first one like a lot of people do. It's all right, but the 2nd and 3rd one are great. Haven't seen International, so it would probably be somewhere in like F or maybe low F, high G for me.
Yep. So yeah, that's basically a high G anyway. So I think that's fine where it is there. Let's go to Pennsylvania and visit with Rocky. And I'm going to start with Kirk on this one. Where would you put Rocky?
Rocky should be pretty high. I think it has some really bad movies, but also has. Were Creed involved in this? Creed?
Yep.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'd probably put it in. Just for quality of movie and also iconicness, I'd probably put it at an A.
A for me. Like, I love the first Rocky. I love both Creed movies today.
Yeah, Chad, where would you put Rocky?
Yeah, because of legacy and stuff, I would keep it exactly where you put it because I like Creed and I like Rocky. And Creed 2 is pretty good. I don't really love the rest of them, but I think most of them are good. So yeah, I would keep it right there behind James Bond.
Yeah. Richie, where would you put Rocky?
Yeah, I would probably put it in an A. The only real bad, I don't think Rocky's really had a bad sort of sequel, except for like Rocky 5. I think the rest have been pretty solid, and still really hold up and as iconic films. So I think, and it's got a really, it's got a really big legacy. So I think nothing less than an A.
Yes, I think that it's where it's sitting now. I think is a good place for it. Let's go with Jason Bourne. Chad, where did you put Jason Bourne?
So the first three is just a really great trilogy, and then I would say Legacy and Jason Bourne kind of like drop it a little bit. But if it was just the first three, it would be just like I wouldn't put that God tier, but I would put it A. Can you go up a little bit? Oh well, I guess I would rank it probably around the A or B. I'd probably put it around B actually because of those last two. Let's see. I would put it. I would put it right behind Evil Dead.
Richie, where would you put Jason Bourne?
If it wasn't for the last two, like I would have said a B. But yeah, because of the last two, it kind of brings it down a bit. I would say C.
Based on what I've seen, I would also kind of say it's actually top of D myself. But Kirk, whereabouts would you go for Jason Bourne?
I was thinking the same as you, low C, high D.
And Chris?
Yeah, I'm in DC range. I actually did like the first three movie a lot, but the other two are just I kind of like that ended with the third one. No.
And actually, I'm probably going to incline put Jumanji ahead of it, but I think that's a good place for it.
Yeah.
Alright, so next up, let's knock this one out because it's probably not going to be very high. Child's Play.
And those things I only seen the remake and most of the original. So.
I've seen most of them. I think it's a fun franchise, but it is on lower tier. I would put it above Friday the 13th, to be honest, because some of them are actually pretty good, especially the later ones, actually, for whatever reason. But yeah, I would put it Snap. Yeah. Where's Friday the 13th? I think we ranked that too high, didn't we? Yeah, we did. So I would put that I don't know if I would put it. Yeah, it's because that.
I think, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's Richie. Whereabouts would you go for Child's Play?
It's harder. I mean, I'm more sort of. I know the sort of the later sequels than like the Child's Play 2, 3, or 4 stuff, but like but I didn't mind sort of like. Even though I don't acknowledge they're not the great movies, but I liked Bride of Chucky and those kind of things. But they're not great movies, so I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't really put it above. You couldn't really put it just by putting it above Friday the 13th, in my opinion. I don't know. I would put it an E at the very least, but probably an F.
Yeah, I mean, this is like just like Friday the 13th. This is one that I think is a fun franchise, and I think where it is actually a good spot for it because we've got Friday the 13th that I think Child's Play deserves to be that high too, to be honest. Kirk, where would you go for Child's Play?
I mean, these are those movies that are, bad but fun. So I think I probably would go a little lower. I personally would have had it. Where did we put it? Where did it land on the D? I probably would have had an E or F, but I mean, D's fine. That's not a bad place for it right above Friday.
Yeah, there's a good chance it could still end up in D by the time we're done. We've only got a few franchises left.
Sure.
Let's go for Dirty Harry. Anyone not going any higher than an A?
And
I've never really seen any of these. I like Clint Eastwood though, so whatever you guys think.
Yeah, I think
yeah.
A's. So I haven't seen them all, but from what I've seen, I think A's solid.
yeah,
Yeah, I haven't really seen it either, so, but I feel like you'd probably get crucified if you put it any less than an A.
we do want coming after.
Whereabouts on A is the big thing.
Probably behind Star Wars, right?
Behind Star
Rocky,
Wars?
Probably.
I don't know.
I'd have it.
If they're all good movies, then I don't know. Sure.
I mean, if we put it on Rocky, if we put it behind Rocky, it's going on B, right?
Yeah.
It's like.
Oh, okay, yeah. So,
I might actually be. I might be okay with it going first spot B because I don't see beating anything in A.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I can't find myself knocking Rocky down to B.
Yeah.
Another big horror franchise, Halloween franchise. Richie.
this is a franchise that's, I think it's just got a lot more stinkers than good ones. I think Halloween 1's is really good. Halloween 2 is good. Then you're just getting into shit. I think the Rob Zombie ones, so like the first one, I don't mind, but the rest is kind of dog shit. The Danny McBride one's right. So I don't know, but for Legacy, I think you probably have to put it like at least a D. But yeah, I in terms of quality, I think there's other horror franchises that are way better.
But yeah, Chad, whereabouts would you go for?
So, the first Halloween is a fantastic movie. It's like a really great groundbreaking movie with the slasher genre. I would definitely keep it in the D because of all the bad ones, but it's just that first one. I think it has to be above Jason because Michael Myers is also very iconic.
With that, Kirk, whereabouts would you go for Halloween?
Halloween. I mean, personally, I would put it behind Child's Play and Friday the 13th, but I mean, it's fine. Anywhere in that range is okay.
And Chris.
I mean, I would love to pretend that like Danny McBride did that Halloween did a new one, but yeah, it's fine where it is. Like I do like most of them. I like the original. I really like the new one. And I like to pretend that the first one and the new one the only existing one.
Alright, so let's go for the Conjuring universe. Richie, where would you go for the Conjuring?
I'd probably put it like, I don't know, sort of a lower tier. I think like the first one, the first Conjuring movie is obviously really, really good. Second Conjuring is really good, but yeah, then you're getting into spin-offs, which The Nun, pretty shit. I don't know. Annabelle's like okay. I don't know. I would probably put it around an H.
H. Chad, maybe that's what you put Conjuring.
Yeah. So this one was like a really good, like fresh, in the horror genre. This one kind of like jumped in there, kind of like helping further the horror genre. So I love Conjuring 1 and I love Conjuring 2. Skipping Annabelle, I love Annabelle Creation. And Annabelle Comes Home wasn't bad either. I kind of like that one too. The rest are pretty bad with La Llorona, The Nun, and Annabelle, like I said. But the other ones I think are good. And so I think that the goodness of that franchise beats the badness. So I would put it close. I would put it closer to probably a C-ish. I'm thinking maybe. Yeah, I would put it above Pirates for sure.
Kirk, whereabouts would you go for the Conjuring universe?
Yeah, this is I've seen one, maybe two of, so I'll defer. Like I said, Chad seems to know his stuff on this one. So,
Chris, where would you go for the Conjuring universe?
I bet Chad, I would put it in C range, like 1, 2, Annabelle Come Home, really good. And no, Annabelle Page is really good. Annabelle come on everything all over and give a thing, but yeah, the other one are bad, but the first two Conjuring are so good. And having met Lorraine Warren, it actually opened my eyes a lot me watching them.
Yeah. I mean, I think the first Conjuring's fine, but I mean, I haven't seen a lot of them, so I probably will go there. But whereabouts in C tier would you put it?
I mean, I would put it above.
I'd put it above Godzilla.
Above Godzilla?
Yeah, for sure.
And
Yeah.
actually,
That's
I'll,
for me, to be honest.
yeah, I'll leave there and move things down later. The Bad Boys franchise.
I would put it probably like the Bad Boy for Life is really good, and Bad Boy 1 is good. I'm not a big fan of the second one that much.
Yeah, I'm actually probably going to put it high F for fun, but I don't think I can justify putting it any higher. Richie, where'd you put Bad Boys?
I think this is a fun franchise. Bad Boys for Life is one of those other movies, kind of like Bill and Ted, where they waited so long to do it, you didn't think it was going to be anything good, and it was actually pretty fun. But yeah, I would say F, but maybe a bit lower on the F scale than you have.
Chad, where would you put Bad Boys?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the first two, really at all. I really like the third one. I think that's a pretty good movie, actually. Yeah, I mean F is kind of good, to be honest. Yeah, I'd maybe put it above The Hangover. I don't know, something like that.
And Kirk, whereabouts would you go for the Bad Boys?
I've only seen the first one because the first one was one of the worst movies I've ever seen, and I had no interest in seeing any of the others. It's just textbook Michael Bay in every worst possible way.
They're going to actually not make, luckily, by Michael Bay.
That would be it would be an I for me, just based on that first one alone, because that's like I said, I haven't seen many movies worse than that.
Next up, we've got Beverly Hills Cop.
I had to abstain because I only came for a couple minutes the first one, but I did like acting.
Kirk, where would you go for Beverly Hills Cop?
Yeah, this is one I probably saw the first one when it came around when it came out, but I have very little memory of it, so I'll leave it to everybody else.
Chad, where would you go for Beverly Hills Cop?
I'm gonna have to abstain. I haven't seen any of them. I heard they're great comedies, but I don't know.
Richie, whereabouts would you put Beverly Hills Cop?
I think they're fun. The third one's not that great. I would put around a G probably where it is.
Yeah, I'll probably put it at the probably about there. There. I think it's there. I think they're great, but yeah. The Blade. Yeah, we've only got four franchises left. I accidentally put doubles of 3 of them there, so that's why.
I finally didn't have Lethal Weapon in here.
There's so many franchises I wanted to put as I knew I already had put too much at the time. I was thought of others. Blade, we're up to Blade. I've not seen Blade. So yeah, I'm abstaining from this one. Richie, where would you put Blade?
I think the first two are pretty good. The third one, I acknowledge it's not a good movie, but I have a soft spot for because mainly probably because I'm a wrestling fan. It's got Triple H in it. But I don't know. I wouldn't put it low, but I don't know. I would probably go. I'll go F.
F. Chad, where would you go for Blade?
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people hype these up, and I'm not one to say they're wrong. I don't love these movies. I like the first two. I don't think I like the third one. But I'd probably put it more in G-ish, to be honest. Though for me, I'd put it behind Final Fantasy. I mean, Final Fantasy, Final Destination. But I don't know.
Kirk, where would you put Blade?
Blade for me would be a high F, or a low F, high G.
Yep. And Chris, where would you go for Blade?
Yeah, I like the first two a lot, especially because I chose Jurassic second one. I'm gonna put it in the F, like high F, like just like the first two. I do like.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's probably where the consensus is probably going to land it. Next up, we've got the Silence of the Lambs trilogy series, which is Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal Rising, and Red Dragon, and I'll probably include Manhunter in there, even though it's not Anthony Hopkins. I've only seen Silence of the Lambs. I think it's good, but it's not enough for me to sort of justify where to put it. Ritzy, where would you put Silence of the Lambs?
I think like the three of them are good. I like Silence of the Lambs. Obviously, it's one of the most iconic movies of all time. Hannibal's fine, in my opinion. Red Dragon's really good. But yeah, Hannibal Rising's not a good movie. I don't know. It's just because on the strength of that movie, I'd probably go a bit high, but not too high. Maybe an E.
Chad, where would you go for Silence of the Lambs?
Yeah, so the first one's kind of a masterpiece. I mean, that one won Best Picture. The rest I really haven't. I've seen kind of most of Hannibal, I think, but I haven't heard anybody talk about them like they're really great movies or even good movies. Really, I love the show, but that doesn't count. So I would put it somewhere, close to The Matrix. I would maybe put it just above The Matrix because, I think it's better than The Matrix, the first one.
Kirk, where would you go for the Hannibal series?
Yeah, the first movie is obviously fantastic. Hannibal is like weird, but kind of like fun, and just a off the wall take on the whole story. Red Dragon, I barely remember. Haven't seen Hannibal Rising. Manhunter's good. I like Silence of the Lambs is better than Manhunter, but I like the tone and the feel. It's a lot grittier than Silence of the Lambs. But yeah, where would you have it now? E? Yeah, I think as a franchise, E is a good place for it, E or F.
Yep. Next up, we've got the Predator franchise.
Oh, you didn't ask me about
Chris, where would you put the Hannibal series?
So I agree, I like Silence of the Lambs. The other one, okay, I wanted to rare people actually prefer TV show more than the movie franchise, but I love Silence of the Lambs. Nothing against it. I would keep it very
Next up, we've got Predator. Richie, whereabouts would you put Predator?
See, Predator, I feel like it's only got one good movie. This is the first one. The second one is a guilty pleasure, but it's not a good movie. Predators is a very underrated movie. If you've seen that, I personally liked Shane Black's movie, but I know I'm in the minority there. But the new one, I probably just I guess because of legacy as well, the Predator, the character, I put it highest but not too high, maybe an F.
Yep. Chad, whereabouts would you put Predator?
Yeah, I think Predator's a good movie. I don't love it like a lot of people do, but I need to rewatch it. I think the Shane Black one is actually offensive to autistic people, so I don't like that one. But because a lot of the other ones are pretty bad, I would keep it an F, I think, but I would put it right behind the Terminator, maybe. I don't know.
Kirk, whereabouts would you go for Predator?
I would go a little. I mean, when I was looking at this, I was thinking right in front of Hunger Games, like an E. But I mean, we're splitting hairs at this point. That's
I mean, I'd say that if it goes
right in front of down,
it's going to fall there anyways.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
And Chris.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I like Predator. I mean, it doesn't scare me as much as like the later Alien movie does. But yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it. Like, I like the first Predator. I think the Adrian Brody one not that bad. A lot of people make it out to be. I have not seen the same black one because every review just turned me away from watching it.
And the last franchise is the Karate Kid franchise, which does include the Karate Kid remake, which apparently is Kung Fu, but who knows? Chris, where would you put the Karate Kid franchise?
I'm kind of right in DOE because I do like them a lot. I don't like the next Karate Kid or some of the Latino secret. I like the remake. I like the original a lot. Like, I think Jackie Chan did a really good job in the remake. And I think a lot of people just think of every man not seeing how good of a performance Jackie Chan actually did. And admit him now he won't. Yeah, I find that it's like it definitely in like E or D for me.
Yeah. E or D. Kirk, where would you put Karate Kid?
The first one's good. The second one isn't great, but I still kind of like it. The third one's just bonkers. Guy fakes his death to get revenge on a loss of a high school karate tournament. It's nuts. And I'm not a fan of the remake, but I'd say probably. See, I'd probably have it in G overall.
All right. Chad, where would you put Karate Kid?
Yeah, the first one's great, iconic, and is only strengthened, I think, by Cobra Kai. So that's pretty great. I think 2 and 3 are probably not good movies, but you may enjoy them. And I did like the remake. Yeah, I think at the end of E, to be honest, is kind of a good place for it.
Yep.
Spirits.
Richie, where would you? So above Pirates, did you say?
Probably.
Yeah.
Richie, be a bit.
I like the first one. Second one is good. It's fine. Third one's a bit stupid. A lot of people are forgetting the next Karate Kid, which is Hilary Swank. That wasn't good either.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan. I don't know. I liked the remake. Even I did actually like the remake, but yeah, like I would probably go lower tier, to be honest. It's not something. Yeah, I would probably go honestly like G, somewhere around there.
Yep. And yeah, I think ultimately, I think it's fine. I think about there is probably going to be a good spot for it. This is in that way, because I think everyone's been sort of E, F, G around there. So I think F is probably the place where it's everyone's happy with it, really. But yeah, I what I'll do is I'll fiddle with the it moving things down off stream. But if that this has gone a lot longer than what I was hoping for. I tried to speed this up, but it ended up going longer. But then again, I did put more franchises in. It's like, but anyway, this is a lot of fun. There's a lot of stuff happening on Formula. But we're not on Zoom, but we're going to zoom on out of here before we take up the whole channel. It's once I